హాయ్ భరత్.
Hi.
సో జస్ట్ ఒక బ్రీఫ్ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్తో స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం భరత్. అంటే ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు ఎక్కడున్నావు, ఏం చేస్తున్నావు, సో హౌ ఈజ్ లైఫ్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్ ఓవరాల్ అనే పాయింట్ నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం.
Okay. So, ఇప్పుడు presently నేను working with Indian Army,
ఓకే
Corps of Army Aviation as a pilot,
ఓకే సో
and ఈ place లో I've been working here from last 2 years. Otherwise, I have completed 10 years in Army.
ఓకే
Yeah.
నైస్. సో నువ్వు మొత్తం ఉండేది అంటే నీది ఎయిర్ ఫోర్స్ కిందకి రాదా, ఆర్మీ కిందకే వస్తుందా?
లేదు. Basically, జैसे Indian Defence Forces, as you are aware, మూడు, ఒకటి Navy, thereafter you have Air Force and then Army.
ఓకే.
And Navy, ఇవి కాకుండా మినిస్ట్రీ ఆఫ్ అఫైర్స్, హోమ్ అఫైర్స్, ఎంహెచ్ఏ అందరు కోస్ట్ గార్డ్ ఇవన్నీ వస్తాయి. అండ్ సెంటర్ సిఏఎస్ఎఫ్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఎంహెచ్ఏ కింద వస్తాయి. హౌవెవర్ అండర్ మినిస్ట్రీ ఆఫ్ డిఫెన్స్ ఇవి మూడు ఉంటాయి. అండ్ ఆర్మీ బీయింగ్ ఫర్ ది ప్రొటెక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ల్యాండ్, area being widest, army is the strongest force, 15 lakh plus army. And అందులో now we have, since when we are talking about land, it's not just the land, we have certain component of water also on the land, we have certain majority of the component of air also.
అంటే ల్యాండ్ పైన ఉన్న ఎయిర్ ఇప్పుడు వాటర్ కాంపోనెంట్స్ అంటే లేక్స్ అలాంటివా?
Yes.
ఓకే.
Yeah. So specialized operations ఎక్కడైనా వస్తాయి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇఫ్ యూ సీ ముంబైలో లాస్ట్ టైం ఇన్సిడెంట్ ఏదైతే అయిందో, నౌ యూ హ్యావ్ మార్కోస్ ఆఫ్ నేవీ కమింగ్ అప్ అండ్ స్పెషల్ ఫోర్సెస్ అండ్ ఎన్ఎస్జీ, ఇండియన్ ఆర్మీది. ఎన్ఎస్జీ దో ఇట్ ఈస్ అండర్ ఎంహెచ్ఏ, కాకపోతే ఆఫీసర్స్ ఆర్ ఇండియన్ ఆర్మీ ఆఫీసర్స్.
ఓకే.
సో వీఆర్ బేసికలీ ట్రైన్ టు హ్యాండిల్ థ్రెట్స్ ఈవెన్ ఆన్ ల్యాండ్. ఐ కెనాట్ సే కి యార్ హవా మే, in air agar ఒకవేళ ఏదైనా there is an anticipated threat, I cannot say ki air is not mine.
Okay.
So that's how army has its own component of army aviation.
ఓకే. సో ఆర్మీలో ఒక సెపరేట్ ఏవియేషన్ కాంపోనెంట్ ఉండిద్ది బేసిక్గా.
Yes.
ఓకే.
And మా ట్రైనింగ్ ఏంటంటే we work on the same as how naval aviation, air force and army aviation, the standard operating procedures are same.
Okay.
So in case of any battle, it is something like it should not happen ki our operations are completely different, or we are running in a different tangent compared to others. So it is basically when we operate together. Only thing is that I draw my pay from army, and then Air Force, they draw their pay from.
Okay.
However, majority of the airspace, air safety is the security of the air is given the primary responsibility Air Force thing. However, Army has its own.
ఓకే. సో నీ రెగ్యులర్ టాస్క్స్ ఏముంటాయి భరత్, యాజ్ ఏ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ ప్రొఫెషన్? అంటే జనరల్గా ఏమేమి ఉంటాయి? వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ ఇంక్లూడ్?
ఓకే. సో vis-a-vis ఆర్మీ, ఎయిర్ ఫోర్స్ అండ్ దెన్ నేవీ, ఆర్మీలో ఏంటంటే we are supposed to do the administrative work also. And we have man management, equipment management. However, in addition to all these things, we have additional task of flying choppers.
Okay.
उसमें Air Force lo entante they have a different set of officers, those who are only dedicated for flying. And there is separate for logistics.
Okay.
However, if you actually see optimal utilization, army does it.
ఓకే. ఇట్ లుక్స్ సో కదా. అంటే బేసిక్గా ఒకే స్కిల్లో ట్రైన్డ్ కాకుండా యు ఆర్ ట్రైన్ ఇన్ మల్టిపుల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్. అంటే అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్. సో ఎక్విప్మెంట్ అంటే డస్ దట్ ఇంక్లూడ్ వెపనరీ అండ్ ఆల్ ది వెహికల్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ దోస్?
Yes, weaponry, vehicles. Thereafter, man management is HR. So, though I'm a major, I'm handling the HR of the unit. I'm handling the equipment related certain vehicles ka kya hai, the maintenance of these vehicles, maintenance of the helicopters, and the technicians who are trained for handling the aircraft maintenance are completely different from administrative the manpower వేరేగా ఉంటుంది.
Okay.
So our HR is also basically diversified. It cannot be conventional like in a corporate world. HR has a different job, and then the HR aspects in Army is completely different. ఎందుకంటే recruitment is done by somebody else, and then once these guys come to me, and all their personal documentation, anything and everything that affects their personal finances and everything is given to us.
Okay.
So we have our hands in all aspects. Though it is
Okay.
not that we are master of none and jack of all trades.
But still quite a skill set that you have acquired కదా అంటే HR management of not a normal professional corporate but related to army people who are coming and also logistics and this management right like equipment and this thing and you also fly chopper చెప్పేది అంటే
Yeah.
హెలికాప్టర్స్ అవన్నీ ట్రై చేస్తావు సో అవి అది ఎప్పుడు ట్రైన్ అయ్యావు భరత్ నువ్వు
Generally, in an initial, when I got commissioned into army, I got into air defense, which is responsible for movies lo చూసుంటావు కదా, you have surface to air missiles, surface to air guns, that is basically to shoot down enemy aircrafts.
Okay.
Later, army being such a beautiful organization, they will give you all the opportunities to change your streams.
Okay.
If you want to move to something else, you can always ask for it.
వావ్ వావ్
As
నిజంగా అంటే నిజంగా అంత పాసిబిలిటీ ఉంటుందా అంటే ఎందుకు నేను అడుగుతున్నా అంటే బేసిక్ కన్వెన్షన్ గా జనరల్ ఒపీనియన్ ఆఫ్ ఏ పబ్లిక్ ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే మామూలు కార్పొరేట్ జాబ్స్ లో అట్లీస్ట్ యూ గెట్ టు డూ వాట్ యు ఆర్ డూయింగ్ బట్ ఇన్ జనరల్ గవర్నమెంట్ జాబ్స్ ఆర్ దిస్ థింగ్ మోస్ట్లీ వర్క్ ఈస్ స్టాగ్నెంట్ ఆర్ రొటీన్ ఆర్ దెర్ ఇస్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్రిక్షన్ యూ కెనాట్ బ్రింగ్ ఇన్ ఏ డిఫరెంట్ చేంజ్ ఆర్ ఎనీథింగ్ దట్ వాంట్ టు డూ బెటర్ అనే ఒపీనియన్ అనేది ఉంటుంది బట్
that is there, but when you talk about central government specific jobs, but when you come to defense forces, the life in the defense forces is completely different.
Okay.
There is a reason why it is done, because over a period of time people they learned many things. And I'll also come to the HR. जब मैंने बताया, I told you about HR.
Right.
So here it is basically, you see, when there is a war, when we are expected to fight, an individual who is not happy cannot fight or put in his maximum efforts, or neither he cannot be a good leader leading his men, because he is disgruntled with whatever he is doing.
Okay.
The work environment should be basically supporting you in terms of let you do whatever you want, because the moment when I say agar as a you are an engineer, let me say you are into development of drivers. However, over a period of time as a hobby, you got into the designing of hardware architecture and everything. You find your happiness in spending all your time in your architecture design into వచ్చిన తర్వాత. However, at office, for the sake of doing a job, you are working on the development of drivers.
Right.
Agar if Intel gives you an opportunity, Ravi, we have this environment wherein we allow you to change your stream.
Right.
You do whatever you want.
Right.
We will give you that entire support. Now look at the morale of Ravi. He will be very happy individual, because whatever he is doing at his home as a part of hobby now becomes his mainstream job.
True. అంటే generally in corporate such kind of environment is there to some extent, because they also want to optimize and keen on stuff which you are already expertised with. That part is there, and so they also want to take what you're the bestest and where you can put your abilities better, so they can also make money out of that, and even you are also happy doing that part.
Now I'll tell you why complication comes in army. Agar मान लो, for example, I'm in air defense.
Okay.
So they have trained me with so much of money and then so much of resources. Each and every round that I fire costs 36,000 rupees. One round.
Okay.
So one practice camp, I end up firing about 250 to 300 rounds.
Okay. What do you fire actually? What kind of weaponry? Some machine gun weaponry?
It's L-70. It's L-70 anti-aircraft guns. And Igla missiles also we fire, shoulder-fired fire and forget missile. Okay. Each missile costs you somewhere close to 5 crores. Now imagine, each and every year they are training me, firing all this equipment. All of a sudden, now this guy on which government had spent so much of money says ki I'm not, I want to fly a chopper.
Okay. Like,
Now there is a considerable amount of 6 years of the training whatever government has given.
is all
If you see the corporate,
right.
if a corporate spends a certain money on you and then on a specific thing, and then you say ki yaar I'm not happy with this, I want to get into cyber security now. Now the organization will not allow you to do it.
Correct. Got
And now
it.
in addition to it,
Mm.
in terms of HR,
Mhm.
they are having void of one guy who
Mhm.
is supposed to be doing this thing, but however he is intending to change his mind. There are certain times, not all corporates
Got
have
it.
such a positive environment. They'll
Got it.
simply end up firing you,
Got it.
and they'll say, "Yeah, you pay this money, and then you go do whatever you want to do." But army, as I previously said,
Right.
I said I want to volunteer for aviation.
Mhm.
Okay, they said, if
Mhm.
you want to fly, we are giving you opportunity. There is an exam you are supposed to give. You are not supposed to fail. You are supposed to get this much of percentage.
Mhm.
But if you are willing to do it, and if you have it in you, we don't stop you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I gave my exam. I cleared all my tests and everything, medicals and everything I have cleared.
Mm.
Back in 2018, they
Okay.
said, okay, now you can shift to the aviation. However,
Mhm.
for next maybe till 10th year of service,
Mhm.
10th year of service, you will be in the AD only. However, AD will be giving you on loan to Army Aviation. It
Oh,
is basically one HR department decides कि चलो ठीक है भाई, he wants to do it.
okay.
He will still be mine. But
Oh.
otherwise, I'm just giving it to you for the sake of 10th year के बाद, अगर if he wants to change his mind,
Mhm.
again, this also they should take care. भाई इसने अपना मन बदल दिया कि मैं
हाँ.
ये नहीं करूंगा, अभी ये करूंगा. However, now after 10 years or a period of 5 years, he decided कि no, I'm happy with whatever I was doing earlier. So
Mhm.
they still give me that choice.
Okay.
So now I'm happy. They invested so much of money training. One pilot will cost about 1.8 crores. Only
Okay.
the training for 1 year.
Mhm.
And now subsequently, since 2018, so far I have flown about 950 hours in the cockpit.
Oh, wow.
So imagine 950 into 2 lakhs.
Mhm.
Each hour costs about 2 lakhs. 1 lakh
Mhm.
99,000 some 400. There's an
Oh.
amount.
Mhm.
So if you take it as 2 lakhs, 950 into 2 lakhs.
Mhm. And for just for easy number, we'll keep it 2000 into 2 lakhs.
Yeah.
So that's the amount that is spent for what you have rode over the choppers.
For training me for the operational commitment.
Oh, okay.
And these hours are basically, obviously, it is
Mhm.
not for me. Organization has its own requirement because
Mhm.
they expect now.
Mhm.
You ask me what do you do? So
Oh,
I am posted in the far eastern part of the country, where
okay.
along the LAC situation is so volatile and frequent face-offs they keep happening, which you don't get to see in the news. Sometimes those guys come, sometimes we guys go, and then
You are also involved in the actual action that takes place, huh? These casualties and this phase of that happens.
we because as a pilot now, if you actually see, a road network will not go all the way inside
Correct.
because the terrain is so hard.
Right.
Himalayan terrain is so hard, you
Mhm.
cannot build a road. Even if
Okay.
you build a road, your vehicle cannot go because of
Time.
depleted oxygen,
Okay.
and then your engines will not have that performance, and then
Mm.
roads cannot be wider. They end up
Mhm.
falling from the gorges, they end up
Mhm.
falling from the rock falls, and then the casualties are so high.
Okay.
So they walk.
Okay.
Imagine they walk for 25 days to reach their post
Oh,
from the nearest road head.
okay. The soldiers, actually, foot soldiers walk. The army people walk
Yes.
to. Oh, okay. Okay.
And the only way we maintain them is through air. So
Okay.
all the rations, that is dal, chawal, whatever it is, then kerosene for
Mm.
them.
Okay.
Thereafter, diesel, they only sustain on diesel generators because they don't have electricity that goes all the way till the end.
And
Now
they carry.
sitting
They
there,
they even carry the diesel generators along with them, or you send it via
no,
chopper.
no, these are already inducted. Load inductions
Okay.
are part of our job. So
Okay.
we do induct all these loads and everything. They just have to carry their 25 days
Survival.
వాళ్ళకి ఏదైతే
Mm.
rations
Outro.
required, they
Okay.
carry it along with them,
Mhm.
and they sleep in small tents, whatever they erect,
Mhm.
and they continue their journey for 20-25 days. There are certain posts जहाँ पे they reach in 10 days,
Mhm.
some posts they reach in, and now imagine someone having medical emergency there.
Mhm.
So that is where we pitch in.
Oh, okay.
So sitting at our home, suddenly we get a call. There is a casevac you are supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
Individual, because of the temperature there, he
Mm-hmm.
was working hard. He is lifting so much of load, and his body temperature was so high. All of a sudden, individual felt ki
Mm.
now to just get off from that heat.
Okay.
So वो नहाने के लिए he used cold water, and all of a sudden he had a arterial rupture, and then he started bleeding through his nose.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Now you have very limited duration of time to actually get him and get him admitted to the hospital.
Okay.
So that is where we come in.
Okay.
There are so many precious lives we keep saving, and then when they walk in those 25 days, they keep
Mm.
getting lost.
Okay.
There is one mission that I've carried out. They lost along the LAC, and it is basically trees are about 120, 150 odd feet. It's
Okay.
thick mountains,
Mm-hmm.
and then just water stream. Now
Mm-hmm.
they said ki this is the likely duration because they were moving from this so and so to so and so. They have given call through satellite phone. Two
Mm-hmm.
individuals were missing,
Okay.
and that is about 5,000 6,000 square meters of area they have given. They said ki now you go and search, and it is very dangerous in the higher mountains because oxygen. Firstly, it is very less. Aircraft engine also requires oxygen,
Okay.
and the other one is I cannot just have a standstill position to keep looking out, and I'll have to keep moving.
Okay. And you'll
But
consume the fuel as well, right? While moving around.
fuel and everything is there, and moreover, other helicopters, if we have any emergency, there is no place where I can safely land.
Mm-hmm. Because it's
So
a forest with full of that tall trees. You need a
yes,
barren land to actually.
a plane land at least. Even if there is engine failure, I'll be able to land comfortably. In that case, if something happens, we are just flying at the mercy of God.
Oh, okay. And you have been through such kind of challenges and
It
things. Oh, okay.
it
Okay.
is day in and out, and it is for one such operation where I have spotted two individuals. They went missing for 4 days. They
Mm-hmm.
were not carrying any food and all. Those 4 days it was raining continuously, and then clouds are so much.
Mm-hmm.
And we took risk. Self and my CEO, we went, and
Okay.
then we almost crashed that day while recovering one of the individual. We almost crashed into the tree.
Oh, oh,
So that video went out, and then I got awarded by the chief for the commendation card in
oh, great.
recognition of the distinguished service.
Nice, nice, interesting. And so you saved that person. You were able to recover that.
Yeah, there are both the individuals we have saved them.
Okay. And how did you actually get them to your chopper? Like, because there is no place that you can land and stuff.
Yes.
So
Uh,
how
but,
generally how do you manage that? Because they are on the land in
uh,
searching in the forest and stuff. Generally, as a general perspective, I'm just asking.
yeah. So basically, all our aircrafts are fitted with something called cargo equipment. This is basically to carry about 1,000 kilograms underneath the chopper, and we have something called rescue hoist equipment. This
Okay.
is nothing but a winching system.
Okay.
So it's a pneumatic winch where you drop down the cable, and then with an harness, those individuals they just strap it around like Romeo, and then they stand,
Okay.
and helicopter pulls them. So we have about 95 feet length of cable.
Oh, okay. So you should be flying low, right? In order for that
Uh,
to be possible, and you should not be moving also, right? Helicopter should be at a
yeah,
almost at a standstill position, right, to maintain that. Because
it,
if you are moving and stuff, it might be difficult to pull in as well, right?
it has to be, and because the location where we saved was indicate. Though we are about 80 feet from the ground,
Mm-hmm.
however, the altimeter, that is the altitude indication, was 9,800 feet. You
Mm-hmm.
can imagine that is the height of the mountain where they got lost.
Oh, okay.
And over that
Mm.
mountain, we are flying, and then we are recovering them. It's a actually critical situation.
So even the signal and the communication also doesn't work in that forest, or what actually happens? Is it that their communication module drained out of batteries or something of that kind? Or
No, because generally what happens is they will get one SATCOM set. They have
oh, one per whole group kind of thing, not per
yes,
person. Oh, okay, got it. Okay,
not each because it is a very costly unit,
okay,
so
okay.
they are not supposed to lose it also.
Mm-hmm.
And in case of any medical emergency, they do always give call
Okay.
in Marsat.
Mm-hmm.
However, these two individuals they were lost, and then the other individuals who are walking in the mountains now can imagine there are a total of one JCO and then 25 men.
Okay.
and they did not take the count up. It's their mistake because of continuous walking. Whatever they are doing, they are just
Mhm.
he, no matter what happens, they just reach. कैसे न कैसे पहुंच जाओ.
Mhm.
Yeah. And these guys they went missing.
Okay.
And that day in the evening when we recovered and then we returned back. Here
Mhm.
there's a div GOC. He has about under his disposal he has about 60,000 troops.
Okay.
So he had come to our mess. That is
Mhm.
the place where we interact and everything. He actually saw the
Mhm.
video and all. He said, "Yeah, it is such a I now feel like I should have opted aviation. It
Okay.
is such a beautiful arm because you have all these HR, manpower management, and everything that happens. It is good because you are working for an organization. You
Mhm.
have specific role. You are
Mhm.
doing it. But professional satisfaction when it comes, irrespective of whatever is the stress, as
Mhm.
in whatever is the fatigue that work is inducing upon you.
Mhm.
When you are loving something,
Mhm.
at the end of it, you by the time you come back home, you are the happiest guy.
Okay.
When
Mhm.
you are happy, the environment around you is always happy.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
True.
So it's a beautiful thing. Now next
Mhm.
year I'll be asking for permanency in aviation.
Okay. So
Yeah.
permanency in aviation in the sense the aviation maintained by the army itself, or you totally want to move into, or okay, like you said in aviation part of the army itself, because
Because
you
now I'm
can go back to
AD. AD had
HR.
given me as a loan. The HR of AD had given me on loan to HR of aviation.
Okay, got it.
Now they will start fighting. The moment when I say now I want to be permanent in aviation,
Uh-huh.
AD will say, "Yeah, I cannot give you because this guy had put in about 10 years of service. He is quite a senior guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment you take, he is creating one void. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in order to fulfill this void, it will take 2 years for me to recruit someone and as an get commission. We are called commissioned officers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
For us, the commissioning is generally signed by the President of India.
Mm-hmm.
No others, no other IAS officers, IFS officers, they never get commissioned by the President of India.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that means even for us to be removed from the service, only the President of India, the commander of overall commander of the defense services, he has to sign the document canceling his own commissioning.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So now they have to select some officer, thereafter train him to fill in my void, and it takes look at the time gap, 10 years.
Got it. Got it.
Nobody wants
Mm-hmm.
to lose. Now HR departments in the same organization will start fighting. Ki, no, no, I cannot give.
Mm-hmm.
Aviation will say no. Look, I have invested about good about 40 50 crores on this guy. Now
Mm-hmm.
you said you have invested about 50 60 odd lakhs for training him. Look at
Okay.
the cost to
Yes. Proposition.
exchequer.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
that
it's
that's
their fight.
more of a management problem that they do. So your interest lies in the aviation part. So
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to ask is what led you to actually sign up for this interest? Because you're fine. So okay, let me ask you this question: how did you get into Indian Army first to start with?
Yeah. Before this,
Was it
uh,
and was it your choice from the beginning of your career, like when you were starting and studying in the SRKR college కదా
uh,
మనం అంతా కలిసి ఉన్నాం కదా, సో అప్పుడే
uh,
డిసైడ్ అయ్యావా లేకపోతే హౌ వాజ్ ద ఇంక్లినేషన్ అండ్ వాట్ లెడ్ యూ టు దట్ ఐడియా అండ్ హౌ యూ గాట్ ఇన్ దేర్?
as you are aware, basically my interest into the electronics, the gadgetry, all the Hollywood movies and all, as you are aware.
రైట్ రైట్ రైట్
So I'm so pulled by majority of these Hollywood movies. They glorify tech in fighting wars.
రైట్
So that is where my interest into electronics got into. Now
యా
you develop something that will basically help not for the defense forces, but I got carried away by innovations. At that time, innovation is not the word, and
ట్రూ
it
ట్రూ
was
ఐ
not
ఐ
in.
అగ్రీ. ఐ అగ్రీ బికాస్ మనం కాలేజ్లో ఉన్న టైంలో కూడా
Uh,
you used to work on robotic projects like
exactly.
something that will pick a robotic hand kind of equipment, and you used
Mm.
to go to other colleges and competition to present there. You and Neelkant,
Nilkant.
I think, were pretty much interested on those lines of things, right? And
Yeah,
the discussion and anytime lunchtime or the break discussions also with you were regarding the Hollywood movie tech that were there and how you are actually trying to implement it at your end, kada?
yeah.
Even in the college frame lo. That's how it started. You are saying there. Okay, then on what happened? Like BTech is done. Then
Thereafter,
application.
if you
Mm.
remember, the third year, first semester, we had Indian Army visited.
Yes, yes,
And
right.
that time, though I was not interested, joining army was never in my, bag.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that time I have given, and out of so many people, only three got recommended, self Balaji, and there is one who had come from outside.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I thought it's nice because I really loved interacting with that guy, the colonel who
Mm-hmm.
had come,
Okay.
because he the curiosity is
Mm-hmm.
the vibe.
Okay.
I would rather call it. He
Uh-huh.
said, "Yeah, the project that you are talking about, it's very interesting, and it
Mm-hmm.
has a different application. Can you please tell me, or show
Mm-hmm.
the videos and everything?" So my interview was very natural. It's just like a conversation that we both are having. It's
Right.
some conversation like that. I said,
Okay.
it is good. But
Okay.
after engineering, then after completion of this project,
Mm-hmm.
the DRDO had given me call. I'm
Okay.
sure you are probably aware. So, Institution of Engineers had given me funding for that project, the robotic,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and that Institution of Engineers, the Kolkata, they had contacted DRDO. Us time pe they are having a national program on micro and nano air vehicles. This is basically
Just one thing
uh,
before you go on to describe, can you just describe for the people listening now what is that project that you have been working on? Just a small description so
okay.
that everyone gets it.
Yeah. Now, this is the ground vehicle. If you remember, that was the time we had
Yeah.
2611.
Right. Right. Right.
So the application, although these things were there then, but with the limited knowledge that we have,
Okay.
I thought there should be something that should basically save the lives. Major Sandeep Unikrishnan, you know,
Right.
uh, uh, rest his soul. So and he got martyred,
Mm-hmm.
during the close quarter interventions,
Right.
room intervention drills.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought ki yaar, we should have some kind of a ground vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And now thing is ground vehicle, the maneuverability of these things, it is, as an engineer, you can always think about,
Right.
you will not get that 360-degree kind of a vision and all, then
Mm-hmm.
restricted by the visual range. If I want to kill someone, I just want to detonate it wirelessly.
Mm-hmm.
So there comes the suicide bot. Now what they are doing here. So
Right.
suicide bot I have prepared. Now I thought कि नहीं यार, rather than having a suicide bot, I want to carry a baby bot inside a mother bot. So then
Okay.
I shifted on to mother bot. Now my entire project name, just to revise, it's under unmanned ground vehicle for explosive diffusion and
Mm-hmm.
close quarter interventions.
Okay.
So this is basically mother robot having a small baby robot, which is nothing but a suicide bot, and
Mm-hmm.
we have a robotic arm on the main motherboard. This fitted with an explosive detonator to basically defuse bombs.
Okay.
What
Got it.
generally happens is, for you to kill the bomb, you need to have another bomb which basically kills its detonator.
Got
Okay,
it.
thereby
Mm-hmm.
disabling it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have given this facility.
Mm-hmm.
Thereafter, we were just thinking, self and Neelkant. Here,
Mm-hmm.
when we develop this project, it is fine. And now this is just a two-dimensional thing. On the
Got it.
ground, we are giving
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
What
Uh-huh.
happens if we have something from above?
Mm-hmm.
So we decided, yeah, we'll start putting air component to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there we've got RC helicopter, and then we modified. We have added wireless video transmitter and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So you're able
Finally,
to wirelessly send video data also from helicopter to some other location as well. That
from
that is
to the ground control station. So ground
okay.
control station is where I'm basically operating the main robot.
That got it.
And now then we have issues with the range, because this helicopter cannot carry weight. The
Okay.
power source I cannot send.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it is basically the curiosity. How do I address
Okay.
this problem? How do I address this problem? How do I address this problem?
Right.
So we started doing the relaying part of it. That is the communication relay. Also, we got into it.
Got it.
So finally, we prepared this report.
Mhm.
This ended up in me telling my father, "Papa, I'm going to fail in two of my subjects.
Okay.
The third year, second semester, which you are aware. I failed in two subjects. But Papa, being so nice of a guy, a lovely guy, he
Mhm.
said, "Yeah, no worries. Do whatever you
Okay.
are happy with.
Mm.
So
Got
I'm sure you will
it.
clear your exams, but
Mm.
don't do anything which will affect your career." No, Papa,
Okay.
I'm mature enough. Okay, he
Okay.
says, "It is your call. You can
Mhm.
fail in your subject." I
Good.
failed at the cost of sending reports on time
Mhm.
to do justice, and this. by fourth year, second semester, wherever this document was going, it was free floating between Institution of Engineers and DRDO. Finally, I got call from DRDO when I was in Bangalore. I
Yes,
went to
I think you were in Bangalore for some time, right?
Yeah,
That time, yeah, right,
because of the curiosity. As I said, I want to get into the embedded systems.
right, right.
So I want to Bosch is the company that I want to join. I wanted to join.
Okay.
So chalo theek hai, I was doing course and then I got call. They said, yeah, this is with regards to the unmanned ground vehicle that you had the project that you had sent. I said fine. You can come and meet us. So
Okay.
I went to Bangalore GTRE, Gas Turbine Establishment, Research
Okay.
Establishment.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to GTRE. There I interacted with the director, Dr. K.
Mm-hmm.
Ramchandra. Then he said, yeah, it is such a lovely project.
Mm-hmm.
So we have certain questions for you. Then he had
Okay.
interviewed me.
Mm-hmm.
He started throwing at certain questions.
Mm-hmm.
As in, agar if this is the problem, how do you
Solve
resolve
it,
it?
or how do you
Uh,
tackle a particular situation that occurs there? Okay.
yeah. So it
Mm-hmm.
is kind of NDC. I'll not exactly tell you the questions, but however,
Mm-hmm.
these questions were related to engine health monitoring, and these questions were related to bigger UAVs,
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
defense.
Okay.
So I said, sir, this is how I intend to solve it. He said that it is such a beautiful way of thinking because
Mm-hmm.
as an engineer, you have 1,000 ways to solve a given
Problem.
problem.
Mm-hmm.
So he liked it, and then they said, you do one thing, you complete your course, and then you give me call. He gave me his contact number as I
What
completed my
course?
course, uh,
Embedded.
embedded systems.
Okay, okay. Mm-hmm.
So after 1.5 months on completion, I gave call. Sir, you told me to give call. He said, okay. Now
Mm-hmm.
this time you come prepared for an interview.
Okay.
So I went for the interview. They said they have a project, national
Okay.
program on micro and nano air vehicles. This is basically for the development of 25 that is 2.5 centimeter class flying vehicle to 1.5 meter class flying vehicle.
Oh, 25, 2.5 centimeter flying vehicles. Okay, it's
Yeah,
very small. I think maybe size of a butterfly, right?
yeah,
Or
even
even less
even
than that.
smaller.
Yeah,
It's almost size of hornet or wasp.
cockroach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
okay.
फिर I got into DRDO. There I worked
Mm-hmm.
for many projects.
Mm-hmm.
A few projects with Canadians,
Mm-hmm.
Indians settled in Canada, permanent residents, PRs in Canada. So they
Okay,
all returned back, and then we were working on so exciting projects.
okay,
So which includes not just the flying vehicle part of it, but the using the cognitive abilities of human brain to basically come at the decision making.
okay.
You know, it is something like you know, ఒక్కొక్కసారి అనిపిస్తుంది కదా when
Mm-hmm.
when you are looking at a kid playing around, you may feel
Mm-hmm.
कि अब गिरने वाला वो गिर
Ha
जाएगा.
ha ha
No,
ha ha
he
ha.
will fall down.
You
You know,
run. Yeah, yeah.
there
Ha.
is always a subconscious mind says कि something is about to happen, something is about to happen. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 seconds later things happen.
Right, right.
So there is one project which uses this specific subconscious spikes that your brain creates for
Mm-hmm.
making decision for giving decision whether or not to launch a missile from UAE.
Oh, it works on our senses and how our
Yeah,
brain reacts,
yeah,
not on the external factors that is there.
yeah,
So he's taking basic idea is you make use of your brain intuition or the sixth senses kind of thing where you sense fear and danger, which comes naturally to beings.
exactly.
And oh, wow. And how do you actually measure that from the brain signal? Some electromagnetic waves that.
You have certain things called EEGs.
Okay,
This is just nothing but a measures your brain pulses.
okay,
The electric signals. It is basically to simplify. Your brain creates its own pulse neuron. When your
correct.
neurons fire, it generates a pulse. So
Mm-hmm.
these EEGs, they do monitor it. It is like a helmet, like a
Mm-hmm.
skull cap. You wear it, and then
Got it.
this
Yeah.
particular project takes about 6 individuals sitting monitoring the live video feed coming from a UAV, and
Mm-hmm.
then they say ki now whether or not this individual has a weapon. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I show you, very hazy, not so clear, UAV flying at 30,000 feet, and then I show
Mm-hmm.
you, is this individual carrying weapon or is he likely to
Mm-hmm.
engage the ground troops who are in the vicinity?
Mm-hmm.
Now this is where the decision. timely decision should come, whether or not to engage, the rules of engagement.
So you started working on that, extracting that data and having this thing. These are all like neural network models only, right? Where
Yeah,
you try to make the prediction whether what is the outcome of that. So you
yeah,
were working back then. Now it is the artificial intelligence and this part are famous now, and people, most of the corporate and even for trivial things are getting into this thing, right? Whether it is traffic avoidance or this thing. So at the war level or that tech that you're developing, you're working on those projects at that point of
yeah.
time. Nice.
And
Okay.
in addition to it, controlling cockroaches and dung beetles through remote control, basically cyborgs. You are using the
Okay.
living being to basically control.
Oh, okay.
So there are
Mm-hmm.
so many lovely projects, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I was under Lieutenant General Dr. Vijay Sundaram. He is mission director for Prithvi Air Defense Missile. I
Mm-hmm.
joined the RDO 3 years and worked on such beautiful projects.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And he said, Bharat, you know, this is the time. He
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm coming from Army. Army is such a beautiful organization.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way you work,
Mm.
get over maybe in the coming 2 years.
Okay.
You know, we don't know whether this kind of exciting project may come or not. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
want you to go wasted on
Mm-hmm.
some
Okay.
nonsense. This thing. He said, you do one thing, you apply for Army. I said,
Okay.
sir, though I had, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm in love with this thing. Then he said, now imagine, Bharat, whatever you
Mm-hmm.
are doing, ultimately this technology will go to Army,
Okay.
and there's so much of technology that was inducted into it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you get to play with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you had already seen developing things and all. Now you will start playing with the technology.
Okay.
I said, sir, it's fine, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know whether I have it in me or not. Because
Mm-hmm.
what happens is, just for a perspective, when
Okay.
I am a TGC officer, technical graduate course officer, and
Okay.
6.8 lakhs are the
Hello. Bharat, ఉన్నావా?
sorry. Uh,
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I said, for the perspective, the 6.8 lakh officers, 6.8 lakh are the you know, or those who had applied for the vacancy of 35.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And
So
now
such
that is the
that was
kind
the
of
competition.
shortlisting they have.
Okay.
So I thought, I don't know whether or not I'll be able to make it. But
Mm-hmm.
however, I went to Bhopal,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing the language.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I went and then I gave my interview. It's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful interview, 5 days of interview. You will
Oh.
get assessed by three officers who
Mm-hmm.
will just see whether you fit into the organization or not.
Oh, okay. It's
And
nothing related to your technical capabilities or something, but it's behavioral thing that they want to assess whether
definitely,
you actually fit into doing army kind of work or not. Okay.
yes, it is basically whether you are. There are 15 qualities they basically look in a individual. There are
Mm-hmm.
certain qualities like resourcefulness, whether you are the empathy, whether you have it or not. You
Okay.
know, in terms of severe stress, that is
Mm-hmm.
because of the war and all, whether you'll be able to make sound decisions or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in case if time comes, whether you are ready to sacrifice yourself or not, whether you have
Mm-hmm.
it in you or not. Basically, they
Okay.
will see all these qualities. Now they are not
Mm-hmm.
going to. It is not a verbal kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you tell me whether you have this quality or not.
Okay.
Now there are certain ways they have devised through so many years all across the globe. Armed forces, they do use these techniques. They subject
Mm-hmm.
you to uh, pressure in terms
Mm-hmm.
of, for example, I'll give you a question paper
Mm-hmm.
for written. I'll give you 60 questions, and then I'll tell you, now you have 3 minutes to solve these questions.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to get selected for the
Mm-hmm.
next phase of interview, you are
Mm-hmm.
supposed to answer all the questions.
Oh,
3 minutes,
okay.
60
Mm-hmm.
questions. Now these
Mm-hmm.
60 questions will have certain situations.
Okay.
First situation says, you are going with your sister on bike on Saturday night, and at 2 o'clock there are a group of 15 odd individuals who are coming behind,
Mm-hmm.
and then they started passing comments on your sister.
Mm-hmm.
What will you do? And
Mm-hmm.
again, you have maybe similar question that comes up at 40th or 42nd question, the same question.
Oh.
Your college friend on so and so night when you went on
So okay,
outing.
so the nature of the question is same only. Only just change some of the context and see if
Yeah,
you answer it the same way or not.
ex-
While going. Okay.
exactly. Now,
Uh,
your behavior towards your own sister, your behavior towards other women, your behavior towards
mm,
basic civilian in general, whether
mm-hmm.
you have a consistent behavior or not. You know?
Oh, okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
now people can think and then write answer as you rightly cracked it. People
Mm-hmm.
can think and write the answer. Now here comes the time part of it. Now they said you are supposed to complete it within time.
Mm-hmm.
So you are supposed, and all they will also tell you whatever first thought that comes to your mind. Do
Mm-hmm.
not frame your answers. First thought that comes to your mind, you put
Mm-hmm.
it.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay. So
your first
what
thought
is?
is always what you feel and what your behavior is. And
Oh,
this is
okay.
just one test. As you complete those three, immediately they will give you about 15 to 20 seconds of briefing on the next test. They will
Mm-hmm.
give you 60 odd words, word association test. Now they'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you a word. They will display word for 5 seconds. They will give you 5 seconds to associate that word to a sentence, and then you are expected to write sentence.
Okay.
60 words.
Mm-hmm.
Each word about 5 seconds, and for you to write 5 seconds. Every 10 seconds, that word keeps changing
Okay.
on the
Okay.
screen. It's a PowerPoint timer based this thing.
And you have to write it. You have to read that word and write a sentence using that
Yeah,
word.
whatever first thought that comes to mind, blood.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That the kind of sacrifice. It need not
Mm-hmm.
directly you need not directly use the word, but however it comes, blood. It's a sacrifice. And
Mm-hmm.
some people, blood means injury. For some people, blood means murder.
Okay.
For some
Mm-hmm.
people, blood means sacrifice. So they
Oh.
basically look at someone who are patriotic or who has sense of purpose. The way
Mm-hmm.
they answer, they get to know. And
Oh, okay.
as you
Mm-hmm.
complete this, now there is so much of stress on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes you have completed situation reaction test. 30
Mm-hmm.
seconds, 15 30 odd seconds they have given you briefing. And then
Mm-hmm.
within the same answer sheet, they say कि now you in the next so odd time जो भी है 20 odd minutes you are
Mm-hmm.
supposed to write this. Within again 30 seconds they will show you a picture, you will write a story
Mm-hmm.
not less than 200 words. They will show you 12 pictures, 12th picture being blank.
Okay.
There is nothing. They say कि now imagine your own story. And now
Mm-hmm.
these initial 12 pictures, these are psychology. They are
Mm-hmm.
psychological tools.
Okay.
As you complete this test, you are completely drained out. No,
Okay.
you can only imagine अगर if I put you in such situation.
Right, right.
Basically, in this
I was
entire
trying to
time,
imagine how when you're narrating it, I'm just trying to go through, right? Because it's a
uh,
short span of time. Just
uh,
if you have 3 minutes of time reading that 60 questions, just rereading is also not possible,
uh,
right? Just to understand if I read the question correctly or not itself is a big challenge there,
uh.
right?
Now in this particular test, they see your personality and then they see your expression skills also, as in how
Okay.
you are expressing in writing under such an certain
Okay.
stressful conditions. Your
Mhm.
handwriting, everything makes
Even handwriting.
even handwriting.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Someone is so clumsy in their handwriting,
Mm-hmm.
they are unable to express. This is basically what they derive. Someone with good handwriting, a clear thought process. That
Mm-hmm.
means right from the moment they saw the word, they they have put in the, as I said,
Okay.
whatever thought comes to your mind, write first. If I think or formulate a sentence, then
Right.
I'll not have enough time. I'll end up with the bad handwriting.
Right.
Someone having a good handwriting basically is an indication ki bhai, he had given his first thought.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And whether
That,
all your answers,
they have a very different way of assessing things. So it's not like a it's like whatever first thoughts comes to your mind is the person you are. If you think and do, then there is a probability that you can lie also, right?
yeah,
Like right, that possibility is there, right? If I think and I say that 15 guys I will shoot them off or something, I can write some story there. But if it is the first thought that comes into your mind, that is mostly true self. That's an interesting way of seeing.
yeah. And this is just one guy testing you.
Okay. Ha ha
And
ha.
now comes the for the second day, the second guy will come.
Okay.
That second guy, basically, they have tested you on paper now. That individual, the psychologist will not even interact with you in the entire duration.
Okay.
So that evening, the psychologist will sit and make a pen picture. What
Mm,
kind of an individual this guy is? Does he have the tendency of committing suicide? That does he have a tendency of creating some kind of coups in the military? Is this guy?
mm-hmm.
They look at the tendencies,
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
steal things,
Oh,
tendency to spoil things around.
Okay. Mhm.
And the next day they see you on ground. They will give you
Okay.
certain situations. Now you are stuck. These are the landmines. They will take you to a ground, and they will
Okay.
give you plank. They will give you rope. They will give you two rods. Now they say ki,
Mhm.
you are not supposed to step on the ground. You have certain bricks and everything. You are supposed to use fulcrum, scissors as an engineer.
Okay.
So you have to cross to the other end.
Okay.
Basically, it's a situation where in the minefield, how you are applying yourself or
Okay.
your engineering mind, engineering skills to solve the situation. Now this
Okay.
is again time based. You will be
Mhm.
given 3 minutes. You are supposed to reach. If you fail your mission, you are not fit for it.
Mhm.
And isme problem comes with, now you have five individuals on the ground. They say ki you are commander, and then you
Mhm.
are supposed to exercise those five individuals. Now here
Okay.
comes the problem. When I
Mhm.
go with Ravi and other guys, Ravi has his own set of mind. I have my
Mhm.
own set of mind.
Right.
Ravi says, "Yeah, we'll make fulcrum here." I say, no, we will not make fulcrum. We'll make
Mhm.
scissors using the rope, and then use these two rods. Ravi
Okay.
says, "Ki, no, no, that cannot happen."
Mhm.
Now you are supposed to exercise your command, your ability as a leader to
Okay.
justify. No, if we do this, we are going to get rogered.
Mhm.
We are going to get killed. We are going
Mhm.
to kill somebody. Do
Mhm.
this. Believe in me. Trust me. So
Mhm.
that is where, when these individuals, you gain the confidence.
Mhm.
So they look at you as a leader, and then they will make their assessments accordingly. This is just one
Wow.
small game of it, and then
Mhm.
again you have group discussions that happen. For
Mhm.
example, the honor killings that you generally have,
Mhm.
you know, uh, in the country. What is
Mhm.
the reason for it? They ask, is it because the society is so backward? Is it because people are only concerned about the image of the family's name, or
Okay.
is it something else? Now
Okay.
they'll say, "Ki, okay, now you discuss." Now you have
Okay.
20 odd people sitting together to discuss on the reasons why it is happening. Now this
Okay.
is where people will try to rub their opinions. No, this is
Mhm.
the reason. This is the reason. So now
Mhm.
it takes one guy who basically is a good listener to
Mhm.
listening to all this tamasha, whatever is happening, and people, everyone wants to get selected.
Right, right. And they have
Within
their
that.
motive rather than answering the situation. Mostly, sometimes when you go to interview, there is a motive that you have to crack it and
Yeah,
go forward.
it's an
Yeah.
explosive environment. People are not ready to listen to what other people are saying. Now the
Okay.
guy who is assessing you, he has
Mm-hmm.
20 eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, he has two eyes, but otherwise he has 20, 22 eyes.
Mm-hmm.
One for him, two for himself, and remaining 20 for 20 odd individuals who are sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
So he
Wow.
basically looks at each and everyone. These guys,
Mm-hmm.
they absolutely love good listeners,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
because if you actually see, within
Mm-hmm.
that 3 minutes of discussion time, imagine 3 minutes is way too short for you to come for the conclusion. And
Right.
बाद में, they say you are supposed to nominate one guy to come up with the conclusion.
Okay.
No, it is not normal.
Mm-hmm.
You'll at some point of the time or the other, you will realize that, yaar, there is high intensity, high amplitude discussion that is happening, where
Mm-hmm.
energy levels of everyone is so high.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to stay mum. There's no point in opening my mouth now.
Okay.
Let the energy levels of these guys drain out.
Okay.
That is where the quality of the individual comes out. These are the kind of individual. It is more of a tactic.
Got it.
In the
Mm-hmm.
same individuals of almost similar age, of almost the same qualifications that they are having. Now they
Mm-hmm.
see the most matured guy who will be able to think. Okay,
Okay.
no, not now is not the time. Now is not the time. Now there is a volume that is associated with the discussion. The
Mm-hmm.
moment volume goes down,
Mm-hmm.
this is the time for me to strike.
Okay.
Now I'll simply say, gentlemen. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll just shout,
Mm-hmm.
the highest of my volume. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
everyone will stop, because I want to gain attention like an
Right.
Instagram influencer. It's like,
Uh-huh.
there's so much of discussion that is happening, and
Mm-hmm.
as the GTO had said, you give opportunity each and everyone. I was just looking at who is that guy who says ki this so and so chest number, we get a chest number. Chest number
Mm-hmm.
two is not
Mm-hmm.
has not got his opportunity to represent himself. How
Mm-hmm.
many of you are doing it?
Mm-hmm.
In this thing you are losing upon. Immediately GTO says, gentlemen, you are wasting a lot of time. Now
Mm-hmm.
everyone are in, everyone comes into dilemma. Now
Mhm.
he had already projected that he did not get opportunity. At this moment, if I open my mouth, that will
Mhm.
go against me. Now
Okay.
they say, "Ki, no, no, chest number two, sorry, we did not realize that you are." So
Mhm.
I'll simply say, "Ki, so and so guy said this thing, so and so guy said this thing, so and so guy said this thing." I'll only take the positive things.
Uh-huh.
It is such a beautiful thing. Yeah, our beautiful minds are expressing things. We are not actually taking positive things out of each other. So,
Correct.
for example, this guy said this guy said this guy said this. It is such a beautiful conclusion we have. Now,
Mhm.
imagine I have tactically selected my time very
Mhm.
close to the point where GTO says, "Ki now amongst you, select that one guy who will nominate one guy to give common consensus amongst yourself." That is
Mhm.
the time when I opened my mouth. That is the time where I have conveyed. That is the time where I had grabbed my opportunity. Now,
Mhm.
next, he immediately stopped and he said, "Okay, gentlemen, time's up. That's such a lovely discussion. I couldn't
Mhm.
understand anything. Now you
Mhm.
nominate one guy who will give the consensus." Now, since
Okay.
I'm the last guy who had, given kind of consensus,
Mhm.
the trigger of it,
Mhm.
everyone will point at me. Ki, now, chess number two will give the common consensus because he had understood and listened to everyone. So, chess number two
And the
will be nominated.
other thing is the way you have already given the points of the positive thing, right? People know that okay, if we give it to this guy, he will tell positive instead of the negatives others are
No,
projected,
no,
right?
no.
So that.
Everyone is
Mhm.
aware. The one
Mhm.
who gets nominated generally gets to make it,
Okay. Okay. Got it.
and everyone knows how to make the positive points. But only thing is the right time. Even though that guy knows, yeah. Agar if you take your team and then you organize a group discussion and then you say
Okay.
within 3 minutes, I'll select the next team lead.
Okay.
So everyone wants their opportunity. So
Right.
everyone will go haywire and then they will not think what exactly is happening, but they basically miss upon the basic human quality of listening to others.
Right. Right.
The one
Got
who is mature enough, who is deserving, is basically that guy.
it. Right.
And now, at the end
Mhm.
of it, and wo ye ho gaya, then there is one interviewer. The third guy is basically who will ask you. Now, the psychologist had written a paper. He had not interacted with you all
Mhm.
throughout. He doesn't know you. Just by
Mhm.
the virtue of how you have answered under stressful, conditions, he
Mhm.
makes a pen picture. Now, GTO makes a pen picture. What all qualities he has? 15
Oh.
of
Mhm.
human-like qualities. And
Mhm.
remaining qualities basically this guy will assess. Or again, I'm
Okay.
telling you, in the 5 days they will not they will not discuss about these individuals. Those three guys will not take, the assessors will not talk to each other,
Okay.
to be
Mhm.
fair, and it is
Mhm.
their day in and out job. And
Mhm.
if they meet, they will not discuss about the selection process.
Okay.
So the third guy interviewer will ask, what is your favorite hobby, and they will
Mhm.
give you some funny questions and how you basically answer them,
Mhm.
whether you have it on or not.
Mhm.
For me, he I went and sat. Generally, discussion happens for about 40 odd minutes.
Mhm.
Interview.
Okay.
I went and I sat. He asked me, introduce yourself. I was
Mhm.
about to start introduction, and then he said, tell me about your father.
Okay.
Then before I start with my father, he immediately said, tell me about your work. He- About
Oh,
to answer about my work, he immediately said,
he's not
what are
allowing
your
you to speak only, and he's bombarding you with questions. Huh?
huh,
Okay.
not giving the opportunity for me to.
Mhm.
Uh, then he said, okay, before I started answering what I basically do, he
Mhm.
said, why do you want to join forces?
Mhm.
Again, he immediately changed.
Mhm.
So when he said that, okay, Bharat,
Mhm.
thank you. That's such a lovely interview.
You
Nice
didn't
meeting
answer
you.
anything.
No, I did not answer anything.
He was just bombarding questions, and he said
Uh-huh.
that. Oh,
Then he said, you can go now.
uh,
I said, sir, thank you. Nice meeting you.
mhm.
Have a good evening.
Mhm.
So I walked to the exit door and then he again called. Bharat, come and sit.
Mhm.
Then he said, "Yeah, you did not even ask me question why I did not give you opportunity to basically
Right.
answer
Uh-huh.
this thing."
Uh-huh.
I said, "Sir, there are multiple reasons. One,
Mhm.
either you are not interested. The other one,
Mhm.
you are assessing me. Third
Mhm.
one, you are in a bit of hurry to attend some event somewhere where you don't have enough time to give.
Mhm.
So your assessment is correct.
Mhm.
But do you think third one, what you said, that is, I don't have enough time for now because I'm having commitment.
Mhm.
What made you think so?" I said,
Mhm.
"Sir, these are basic. My instinct said this. Agar if
Mhm.
I don't have time, I don't want to listen to anyone. I'll be nice, and then I say I have certain thing to attend. We'll meet later."
Mhm.
So since I've come here for interview, it is most likely the second condition, a second case or third case. You may
Okay.
have to attend something so important,
Mhm.
or you are assessing me because I'm here for my interview.
Mhm.
Then he said, Bharat, it's third case. I have a party to attend.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So
So it turned out to be the third case itself.
third
Okay.
case itself. He said
Uh,
you are good at your assessment. Now,
mhm.
do you think that I should go with third case or second case? I said
Mhm.
that I'm here for the interview for the selection of armed forces officer,
Mhm.
and you are a commissioned officer.
Mhm.
By virtue of you wearing the uniform, that
Mhm.
itself is a credibility that
Mhm.
you have it in you and you have all those qualities. You
Mhm.
work for the organization, you work for the uniform that you wear. I'm
Mhm.
sure your personal commitments never come in your work life.
Okay.
Then he said, it is such a lovely answer. You're quite mature guy. Then he
Wow.
said, otherwise you want to answer the questions that I've asked you. I
Mhm.
said, sir, if you have time. Then he said,
Okay.
it's such a short interview, but
Mhm.
you don't have to give answer to it. I
Mhm.
understood your, this thing. Sir.
Mhm. Mhm.
No, he shouted.
Mhm.
So I simply smiled and I said, sir, I was looking at the expression that you have on your face. So
Mhm.
didn't you find it rude if I say this?
Mhm.
I said, sir, it's my interviewer assessing me. So no
Mhm.
matter what, this is not your behavior. It is basically you are looking at how I am going to react to your this thing. This will
Mhm.
not work out.
Okay.
Then he said, no, it is such lovely talking to you. You can
Mhm.
go.
Okay.
Within
Mhm.
about 10 minutes, I had come back, and then everyone said, yeah, with 10 minutes, you are not going to make it. I said,
Uh-huh.
it's fine, but I really loved the interview, the first
Got it.
interview. I'm not aware
Mhm.
how exactly things happen, but I
Mhm.
started loving it.
Mhm.
Then finally, on the what happens is basically, I said 6.8 lakh people, and out of
Mhm.
6.8 lakh people, they call 2,000 candidates every alternate day.
Okay.
So 2,000 candidates, they come. Initially,
Mhm.
group first part is basically group discussion.
Okay.
Second, they show you a picture and then you'll write a story and then you'll start your group discussion based on that picture.
Got it. Mhm.
And by virtue, within the day one itself, out of 2,000, they will filter 35 people.
Okay.
So out of 2,035 people, and then next day, again they will call 2,000 people. However,
Got it.
the selected 35 will go through 5 days of test,
Okay.
5 days of interviews.
Mhm.
And during the course of these 5 days, as I said, you have
Right.
psychologist, you have interviewer, you have GTO, and one day
Okay.
basically for your final conference, and the fifth day they will just is your they say they will disclose the results.
Mhm.
So the fourth day I went for my final conference where now you
Mhm.
have 15 officers, commissioned officers, all including Navy, Air Force,
Mhm.
and Army,
Mhm.
including the DIPR scientist who is a psychologist. They sit.
Mhm.
Now, this is the time they will start discussing about the candidate.
Mhm.
Now, as per the board proceedings,
Mhm.
all three should, irrespective of how good the candidate is in his
Okay.
own test,
Mhm.
the qualities that they have seen, seven qualities should match.
Okay.
That is, the psychologist should have written those seven qualities out of 15. Seven are
Mhm.
the minimum. He
Mhm.
should have written seven. These seven qualities should be consistent with the interviewer, and these seven qualities should be consistent with your ground group task officer जो outdoor activities जो देखता है.
Okay. Uh-huh.
If any one of the quality, that is all these three guys have given their observed qualities, I have observed 12 qualities, this.
Mhm.
अगर if one quality is lacking
Mhm.
in this, they
Mhm.
will utilize their veto. That is basically he is not fit for recommendation to the forces.
Okay.
Now, out of 35, they have selected one, me.
Okay. Wow.
So, there is a list since from 2000 to 35 to 1. And
Mhm.
from 6 lakh 80,000, they will select about 50 odd guys. And from those 50 odd guys, after medicals and all, there is a merit list that comes. And
Mhm.
finally, they select 35 candidates for that
Mhm.
1 year to be a
Okay.
commissioned officer.
Okay.
And
But
if
it
you act,
See, one part I feel is it's a strenuous process for the people who getting interviewed. I was just imagining the process itself. The people who are interviewing, they have to judge these kind of guys and how robust their method should be, right? To pick up the right guys there, and they drain more energy than the guys who are getting interviewed. Is also other side, other way of looking at it is what I feel.
Exactly, because that is the reason why they put someone who had put 25 years, 28 years of service.
Oh, okay, okay.
They're very senior, and then they get about 2 years of training
Mm-hmm.
in psychology. They're
Okay.
generally PhDs in their psychology part of it.
Wow.
And
Okay.
because if you actually see, if I tell Ravi to interview someone for job, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if I say if you have a business, you are running your father's business, and then one day your father will say, uh,
Mm-hmm.
again, as I said, it is all the thought process.
Got it.
I'll just draw the analogy. Agar if your father says, yeah, Ravi, we are running short of manpower because our business is picking up. Now
Mhm,
I want you to select a guy to work in the hotel that we own.
mhm,
Now I'll ask you what all qualities you basically look at that guy.
mhm,
Now when you answer this question,
mhm,
you know yourself what exactly the organization that you are going to join with
mhm.
expecting from you.
Got it. Got it. Yes. So
Now,
it should be in sync. Like what you're asking should not be something which is unrelated. Mostly it will be try to see what are the problems that this guy has to solve and go through this thing. So that's a good point, right? People who are like very experienced and veterans, they already know if the people who are coming it have it in them or not, or whether they will be able to tag it. It's a win from the two sides, right? Who are getting
exactly,
selected because they are the people who are eligible to do that, and even for the army it's a good thing that okay, they got the people who are fitting rather than someone who is not a fit or is susceptible to some or the other problem there, so that
exactly.
they don't want, right, right. Cool.
This kind of selection process you will not find in corporate. Though there are
Right, right.
certain companies they does it for
Mm,
their leadership roles. However,
mm,
from junior leadership in army, they do it because
mhm.
you are expected to have such matured guys, irrespective of their age, in the
Wow.
process, because
Okay.
it is such an environment where you cannot expect you know uh, bribery.
Right.
You don't expect misutilization of funds, resources, and all these
Mhm,
things. It
mhm.
is such a huge organization. It is something like one lemon drop in a milk.
Got it. Mhm,
It should not spoil. So they are very careful in selection. That is the
mhm.
reason why Indian Army, as on date, is having somewhere about 52,000 officers shortage.
Oh,
Now you
because
can
they are
easily
not able
take
to
it.
select the capable people.
Yeah,
Or okay. Mhm,
basically you select, even if it takes time. Do not
mhm.
rush up to fill in the vacancies just for the sake of filling it,
Feeling
because you end up spoiling such a beautiful organization which is expected to fight.
right.
And that is the reason why all these heroic stories, and then whatever you listen in the news about these
Mhm,
guys,
mhm.
these are very carefully selected guys.
Okay.
And you may find certain
Mhm.
idiots also.
Okay. This
However,
keep in. Uh-huh.
they
Right.
have very consistent personality.
Mhm,
You should never worry about an individual who is bad, and he will remain bad all throughout.
mhm.
He says I am bad,
Right, right,
but
right.
you should
That is
always be worry. You should
because
be always
because
be
it's a
worried about
non-evil. Right,
someone
right.
who
Who
wears
is
cloak of a
uncertain.
good guy, gentleman. However, he's such a poisonous guy.
Right, right. That is very dangerous.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I also feel the same because if the people are open and bad, there is less harm that they can do, or we
Correct.
know the harm that they are intent to do. We will be careful with that kind of thing, or we know what is the line they are drawing and stuff. But the other person who disguises and shows himself in a different color, that's
Hmm.
a those things, and it's very dangerous thing also, right? People
Yeah.
don't get it there. Nice. This is one interesting perspective. But I really like the level of care that they are taking to do that. So it's good that the people who are listening also
Hmm.
they get to know what is the kind of thing and do that. So while going through the process, how was your feeling of the interview? Like, are you already aware that such kind of environment or questions will be asked? Did you had that kind of preparation earlier, or it was a spontaneous thing that you went and had it?
It's a, as I said, it's basic maturity that you should have. If I have
Mm-hmm.
to come and give my interview with Intel,
Mm-hmm.
I can say I'll get selected.
Mm-hmm.
But the confidence comes from your maturity in understanding what exactly Intel wants.
Right.
What are they basically into?
Right.
what is their innovation, what is
Correct.
their
Correct.
trust
Correct.
technology.
Mm-hmm.
Now I focus my entire thing on what their trust technologies are.
Mm-hmm.
I make myself, abreast with the knowledge. It
Mm-hmm.
is, as I simply said, always
Mm-hmm.
understand the job, why the other individual wants to hire you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that maturity, agar if you have it in you, you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
prepare for anything. And they do have their own techniques to understand who was trained enough. They will straight
Correct.
away kick those guys who are
Understood. Yeah.
so
True.
patriotic, those guys who are so wonderful in answering.
Mm-hmm.
It is there everywhere. On internet, you will get to know what exactly is the procedure of
Got it. Got it.
the interview, and then they
Mm-hmm.
do come. Oh, simple. There are PPTs available. You keep
Mm-hmm.
practicing like you prepare for services, IAS, IPS.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
However, they know कि
Oh,
भाई who is natural and who is artificial.
got it.
So the
Yeah.
one who applies himself instantaneous. It's the basic human instinct.
Right. Right.
So that basically gets you selected.
Okay. And after joining the armed forces, how was your experience? Like going to there, and what is the things that you like the most, or you learned in your way working in such an organization?
Yeah. As I said, you have your hands on in everything.
Hmm.
Army, generally, what happens is like you have your own hierarchy in corporate.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have decentralized control.
Okay.
Initially I went as a lieutenant with no service, as
Mm-hmm.
in no experience in army. Don't know
Mm-hmm.
how exactly things happen, because I
Mm-hmm.
was just simply trained for tactics. In case if war happens, as an
Mm-hmm.
infantryman, as a foot soldier,
Mm-hmm.
an officer expected to lead men, you are generally taught how to basically come across the fire. How do you basically address the enemy?
So
You kill.
you know how to use all the weaponry that infantry uses.
Yes,
You
yes.
are all trained in that,
We
and
are all trained.
okay,
So,
got it.
how do you basically kill? How do you basically survive? What are the tactics? It is
And
basically to
how?
understand if an enemy is doing this, that means he has some other thing. He is expecting you to be, he is channelizing you to the killing grounds. If
Okay.
you are going everywhere and then if you do not encounter enemy, in a war,
Okay.
that means he is basically channelizing you into his killing ground. So,
Got it.
your maturity should be, agar if there is some easy path to me, that is the
Mm-hmm.
path that is going to kill me.
Okay. Got
So
it.
basically,
Uh,
this is the kind of training they will give you, and
and
it's like,
how many people does a lieutenant officer leads foot soldiers? How many is there a count on this thing, or it
yeah.
depends upon mission?
As a generally as a company commander oblique platoon commander, he has about 70, 80 odd guys with him.
And the 80 odd guys will be associated on the fly, or you remain with the guys and
You remain
train.
with the guys all
Oh,
throughout
okay.
your service.
Okay. Okay.
So this is for the infantry units, and I was in AD, so
Oh,
I had 180 guys with me,
okay. Okay.
because I have radars, flycatcher radars, each radar costing 180 odd crores, and
Okay.
I have guns, AD guns, which are costlier. I have
Mm-hmm.
36 generators with me. Now
Mm-hmm.
imagine someone who had just got trained in some other arm as an infantryman coming to AD, and then he has become a troop commander. And as a
Okay.
troop commander, he is having so many men and then resources. Now they
Okay.
say you are the centralized, you are the only guy
Mm-hmm.
who are responsible for them. That is
Okay.
including your own equipment. That is, I am basically looking at all those guys जो भी मेरे पास है उनका HR related activities, HR
Mm-hmm.
related management.
Mm-hmm.
Thereafter I have resource management,
Mm-hmm.
and उसके बाद I have funds, the accounts part of it.
Okay.
How do you basically, it is too early for me to shoulder such responsibilities. When you think
Right.
that it is hard on you, but it is
Mm-hmm.
such a beautiful, again, it's a beautiful organization that will make you run with 25 kilometers, 25 kilos on your back for 80 kilometers, to just
Wow.
make you realize
Mm-hmm.
it is the only restricting factor is your mind. The day when you take control of your mind, everything is possible in your life.
So you did that, taking 20 kgs and this thing
Yeah,
and walked.
25 kilos, 25 kilos, 80 kilometers.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we generally in the mountains.
Oh, that was
It's
not
not
a
in plains.
normal plain surface. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not plain. Plains, it is very easy for us to run. Even now, if you ask me, I'll very comfortably run 100, kilometers.
Wow.
But thing
Okay.
is, because
Uh-huh.
we are trained for it, our minds are trained for it.
Okay.
Even if my knees, they bleed, my cartilages, they give up. The only
Uh-huh.
thing that doesn't give up is the will.
Okay.
And when your
Mm-hmm.
will is strong, this is what they generally teach us.
Mm-hmm.
When we run, we say, yeah, how is it possible? It is not even, it should be very human in thinking before
Okay.
you ask us. They simply say this.
Okay.
Indian Army has come into existence as an Indian Army from
Mm-hmm.
1947. However, we are, raised much, much earlier.
Okay.
You are not the first guy and you will not be the last guy.
Okay.
What is your IC number?
Mm.
So and so. That is 80 or whatever. I'll not call that number. I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
So you are 8 lakh odd guy.
Okay.
There are
Mm-hmm.
8 lakh people. Just remember 8
Mm.
lakh people who had already cleared this. You will not
Okay.
die.
Okay.
Son, get on, run.
Okay.
So in that, there are some weak hearts. There are some weak minds. They will
Uh-huh.
run for the sake of running. As I said, there are all kinds of people.
Uh-huh. Are there people who give up in the middle of the training and
Yeah,
stuff when they
they
go
do give up,
through?
but again, they see whether depends. Agar
Mm-hmm.
if it is just a physical, because no, you cannot expect someone to be so physically. They may be someone who had put in healthy guy, fat guy,
Okay.
and army has its own technique to make you lose weight. That is, I went with 78 kilos, and then by the end of second week, I was already at 55 kilos.
Is it there? Wow. Seriously,
Yeah,
55 kilos. Okay, that's
55
like
kilos.
it's a way. And with 55 kilos, you carry the 25 kgs of weight and then
No,
still
no,
go around.
they don't do it initially
Mhm.
because your body and then health took a toll. They are also aware.
Oh,
Basically,
okay.
when you are expected to climb ropes, when you are expected to run distances,
Right.
first thing is you should lose your weight. You should be agile. You should be that guy who can jump through the windows.
Hmm.
You should be agile. It should not happen. Your weight is the restricting factor that you are ending up breaking your bones.
So basically, I didn't know that. Yeah, as we know from the college, right? You were interested in the embedded thing and this thing, but you look physically fit and this thing. Do you think that a normal fitness, which we are addressed with in our 20s and stuff, is it good enough for you to go to army and do that, or we need? Or they train it anyway that way, so if you're eligible psychologically and you have in it the problem solving thing, they train you anyway to build the body that is required to go through that health. How does that thing come up?
They make you do it because I said army organization like army is not for faint-hearted.
Okay.
You know, every each and every individual that comes, those
Mhm.
35 odd guys who are there, you should realize these are
Okay.
the ones picked from 6,80,000. These are the ones
Okay.
they don't
Oh,
like giving up,
okay.
irrespective
Mhm.
of what happens.
Right. So one thing I will ask you,
Uh,
what plays a crucial role in getting into army? Is it the patriotism, the thing that you have, or the mentality, or is it the capability, good extent of capability that you should have to go into army, which is a more of a requirement there?
it's not patriotism. They don't like patriots.
Okay.
You know, matlab, it will automatically come. You are
Okay.
associated with an organization when you have, you know, I said
Mhm.
those individuals who have a sense of purpose for his
Got it.
life.
Mm-hmm.
Only those guys they get selected. And
Mm-hmm.
then uh, I was asked the same question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to join army? I got
Mm-hmm.
selected twice for this similar interview. Once I
Okay.
went for OTA and the other one OTA in Chennai and the other one IMA Dehradun. Back to
Okay.
back, I have cleared two times.
Okay.
So they asked me this question. Then
Mm-hmm.
I said, sir, it's a wonderful salary and it's a
Mm-hmm.
central government job. There is stability. And
Mm-hmm.
then, as I was told, this is the only
Mm-hmm.
organization that will pay you for maintaining the fitness.
Is it?
You get paid for fitness, you get paid for playing games. Obviously,
Oh, correct. Correct.
there are funds allotted for sports. There are funds allotted for buying gym equipment for the
Right.
organization.
Right.
There are funds allotted for you to do the horse riding. Now you
Mm-hmm.
tell me which is the organization that will allow you to have horses
That's
and
right.
then you keep riding these horses. How many organizations will have golf courses for you to
Right.
explore? How many
Mm.
organizations will have badminton courts, basketball courts? You
Yes.
have heated swimming pools. One
Mm.
station, any station that I go, I have all these facilities.
Mm.
Basically, for me to maintain my fitness. I'll not say they are paying me, money or salary for being fit. They are giving me all these facilities. That is basically organization is paying for me to basically enjoy these facilities. In
Got it.
turn, I'm basically maintaining my fitness.
Got it. Got it.
है ना?
Nice. 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 In a way, it comes out to that.
Yeah.
Nice. Pretty interesting way and insight. So one thing I will ask you, see, you went as a lieutenant officer early days. You got selected there. I think after how many years after college that this selection and this thing happened exactly, Bharat?
2010. है ना?
2000 we
uh,
passed
two-
out. So same
2010
year
we
only you
passed
got.
out.
Uh,
2014 I got for 2013 somewhere, and I got recommended for both Officers Training Academy and Indian
okay.
Military Academy.
So you were like around 23, 24 years of age, and the people whom they are reporting to you, right?
No, I
Like,
was already 26 by then.
okay. So a person like even 26 of age is there, but a people of 180 people you are report to that, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
so there will be of different age, different background, and
Yes.
this thing, and you going directly to a role where you have to interact with people and command those people. So what are the challenges or the good things, or what did you learn in that process?
There is an initial grooming. I said once you go to the unit,
Okay.
now there is a sense of belongingness that is there in the organization.
Okay.
This is one thing I'll ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you how do you call, how do you express your feelings for an organization?
Mm-hmm.
You are at a designation.
Mm-hmm.
What is your designation now?
I'm a engineering manager here currently.
And how many? What is the team size that you have?
So currently, somewhere around 7 people report to me,
Uh,
including the flex force or the not the permanent forces. So
uh,
5 plus 2 people that are there.
how many of them? Matlab, they may or they may not have issues. Everyone they have their own personal things. How
Right.
many times they have discussed their personal issues and then seek your help?
Uh, I would say it happens, but it is not like a very day-to-day kind of thing. But the time kind of culture that we establish and this thing we do discuss in our lunchtime or at a one-on-one discussion that are there. But I would say it is a not a very frequent occurrence,
Uh,
but a very less thing that actually happened to. That happens, but just to maintain that rapport of the thing, we understand the person he is and stuff, so that we can build a bond and do things better, so that we can collaborate better, right? When we go as a team and stuff. But in general, the personal things and these things are less. Whenever there is a need comes, we do help and do that. But that's the case with it. But it's not like too much. We don't delve into the personal things and
uh,
stuff as well. We know who he is as a person, and if he needs some help or something, we generally help and pave that way so that he can grow in other avenues outside work as well.
and now, how many times have you picked up your phone and then spoke to somebody whom you are not aware from some other district to solve their legal issues if they have any?
No, no, zero, zero, nothing.
Now, this is the organization where, as a lieutenant, as I said, they have given you so many guys, and
Right.
these जो jawans होते हैं ना, they are
Uh-huh.
generally 10th pass, and then
Right.
they come into organization at 18 years of their age,
Right. Okay.
and they are from village backgrounds. Now, village
Okay.
में आपको पता ही है, there are so many issues. कभी कोई आके लैंड कब्जा कर लिया, कभी आके कोई
Correct. Correct.
उसका मम्मी पापा को दे मैन हैंडल, है ना?
Right.
Somebody have issues with their parents, aged parents होंगे, they have
Mm.
cardiac arrest, they have certain issues.
Right. Right.
Now it becomes day in and out affair for us कि
Right. Right.
बंदा आएगा आपके पास, कहता है
Mm-hmm.
कि with a trust. Now I'll tell you,
Mm-hmm.
your HR management, this basically comes under HR related.
Mm-hmm.
बंदा आएगा बढ़िया सा, he will salute you, जैन साहब, अब भाई
Mm-hmm.
क्या हाल है? जैसे कि साहब मैं ठीक हूँ, लेकिन मुझे
Mm-hmm.
एक दिक्कत है, तो
Mm-hmm.
ओके गो अहेड, क्या दिक्कत है? तब ऐसे ना मेरे घर पे मेरा मम्मी पापा हैं, मेरे पापा का जो भाई है, जब इनका बंटवारा हुआ था, दैट इज
Right.
बेसिकली द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन द
Mm-hmm.
प्रॉपर्टी का जो भी है,
Right.
देन देयर इज अ फाइट विद इन रेस्पेक्ट ऑफ द लैंड.
Got
एंड
it.
कल ये
Got it.
हुआ था कि इट्स अ लॉन्ग टसल दैट इज हैपनिंग, एंड कल मेरे पापा के भाई ने 3-4 गुंडे को लेके आए और
Oh.
पापा का सिर पे they मार दिए इन्होंने, and he is hospitalized now. So now
Okay.
imagine a guy who is sitting somewhere far, far from the family and having his father's head, cracked, hospitalized, only mother, no other sister or brother, coming and standing, and then he is asking. Now, first thing what you will do is, यार ठीक है एक काम करना, तुम छुट्टी लेके चले जाना. This is one kind of a guy. Army doesn't work that way. अगर ऐसे कोई
Right.
आपके पास आते हैं ऐसे सबसे पहले कॉर्पोरेट में ये होता नहीं है. Somebody will come in with a stressful this thing. They say कि I want to leave. They you say कि okay you can take not more than 7 days of leave. अगर
Okay.
नहीं he'll say कि no, for me I have my personal issues, legal issues, I require at least 15 days of leave. And thing is, organization, if it is a supportive organization, it is fine, a supportive guy. And if it is an organization that doesn't support you, that guy will end up going away from the organization. हमारा होता क्या है ऐसे कि simply उसको तसल्ली देना है मुझे. It is, as I say, when we fight war, we are supposed to fight together in life and death.
Correct.
अगर if he leaves his post, that means I'll be losing a guy who is supposed to do certain job, and then that means I'll not be able to do what I'm expected to do.
Correct.
At the end of it, I'm expected to supervise and then get things done on ground. I'm not the guy who is doing it.
Right.
So I need to keep my team intact. It's a respectful organization. I'll simply pick up a phone. I'll speak to the police of that particular respective area का. I'll speak to the जो भी SI होगा. I'll speak to so and so Major so and so Captain Bharat या so and so Lieutenant Bharat. मुझे एक दिक्कत है. तो मेरे साथ ये जो बंदा खड़ा हुआ है ये CICT एरिया में, दैट इज काउंटर इंसर्जेंसी एंड टेररिज्म ऑपरेशन में. अभी इंडिविजुअल इज कैरिंग हिज ओन वेपन एंड वो ही इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू प्रोटेक्ट अदर गाइस. नाउ उसको एक दिक्कत आया हुआ है. आई रिक्वेस्ट आप इस प्रॉब्लम को एड्रेस कीजिए. एंड व्हेन सच कॉल गोज फ्रॉम एन यूनिफॉर्म्ड पर्सनल टू पुलिस, दे जनरली टेक इट सीरियस.
ओके.
वो बंदा जाएगा और उस पापा का भाई को उठाएगा और जो भी दोनों गुंडे हैं उनको उठाएगा, लेके आएगा पुलिस स्टेशन में, वो डाल देगा. एफआईआर सब कुछ हो जाता है. उनको
ओके. ओके.
धमकी देके दिल कीप मॉनिटरिंग इट. अगर यदि
ओके.
वो काम नहीं करते हैं ऐसे, अगर इफ देयर इज समथिंग दैट रिक्वायर्स in terms of magisterial,
Okay.
I can straight
Court.
away give call to district magistrate.
Okay.
I
So
say कि
you have those contacts, or you get those contacts required enough to help, or you take it from the guys who are working.
that is the resourcefulness. We
Okay.
find those contacts. We'll give
Okay.
call to DCP को call करते हैं. I am in requirement of their number. I'll speak to district magistrate. And in fact
Okay.
वो आपको majority of the websites में मिल जाता है. It is already available.
Okay.
You give call and then you say I'm Major Bharat. I want to talk to collector. They will connect you. They will patch you through.
Okay.
And bloody that guy will the IAS whoever is supposed to do his job, he will do his job. I say I'm having requirement so and so, and it will never happen. Believe in me. When you pick up your phone and then try to address somebody else's, you earn a respect,
Got
and
it.
that guy will hold you, in the highest of his regards. And
Correct.
these
Correct.
guys, when they go back and then they stay in their barracks in the lines, they say कि मुझे ये दिक्कत हुआ था. They will discuss. They will discuss amongst themselves कि मुझे ये दिक्कत हुआ था, and they'll not shy away to discuss their personal problems. मुझे ये दिक्कत हुआ था, साहब ने मुझे काफी हेल्प किए थे. Now that will help other guys. That is in the starting phase. कि साहब मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है, साहब मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है, साहब मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है. This becomes our day in and out. Now it
Okay.
is such a beautiful. When I say HR management in army, we don't look at the salaries part of it.
Got it.
Salary, army has its own way of dispersing salaries.
Right.
Concern. For me, it is basically to keep these guys intact. The manpower ka, if they have any such legal issues, if they have any such problems, it is
Got it.
never individual's problem. Problem
Nice.
and individual as the problem to an organization. If we fail to address it, we are failing an individual, thereby failing an organization.
Got it. Got it.
Okay.
So you
Ultimately, that guy will not do what he's expected to do.
I think unless you have such kind of rapport with the team that you are working, it's very difficult, because those are the people who have to put their life in front of the line, right?
Yeah,
To do that.
exactly.
Unless that kind of trust is established, it is very tough to do that and do that. Nice. That's a good, but it's also good that you take care of their personal thing and try to solve it from the place that you're already there. That's also give them a lot of confidence that in the organization that are working, and that they also can solve their problem, and even the army as an organization is helping them to have a better things in life for the time that they are putting in the army. That's
Yeah.
good part there. And anything, so then, okay, all this is fine, and you're trained, and in the infantry you were there. And what led you to pick up this thing into flying or aviation? When did you decide that, and how did this thing come up suddenly?
It is, as I said, one of my unit officer. He's a Veer Chakra. That is, fourth the highest, you know, gallantry after the Paramveer Chakra one can get.
Right.
So he carried 35 casualty evacuations. That is, he saved 35 lives. And a
Okay.
casualty, it is basically someone who is affected is a casualty in army.
Correct.
Or
Right.
be it getting shot, or be it
Mhm.
he's having some kind of high fever. All these
Mhm.
becomes casualty, and then we call them casevacs.
Right.
So he did 35 casualties in RT bombardment चल रहा था 1999 of Vijay में,
Mhm.
and on a tunneling top. So
Okay.
they are having so many casualties of special forces, and
Mhm.
this guy was actually waiting behind the mountain feature. As and
Mhm.
when with the engine sound, you will not get to know the bombardment. So he is
Mhm.
basically looking at the peak of the mountain from the side, and then as and when that bombardment got off,
Mhm.
basically guns, six guns, they keep their firing. So
Mhm.
they'll have to reload their guns
Mhm.
for the ammunition, and they generally take about 1.5 minute artillery.
Oh,
So
okay.
he has 1.5 minute to basically he timed it out. Pakistani drills are completely different from Indian drills. However, one thing is, as I said, it is basic human instinct. How do you address the problem? There's
Mhm.
bombarding that is happening. You are in sitting in the chopper to the hillside,
Okay.
and you are basically looking at the gap between two successive bombardments. He
Okay.
had seen about 1 minute 30 odd seconds for the rearming yeah, for
Mhm.
Pakistani guns. So within
Okay.
that 1 minute 30 minutes, he used to go and then quickly pick up the most critical casualties, and then niche aake he used to take them to hospital. Hospital as in the
Otherwise,
field hospital.
otherwise, while gunning is going, it's very difficult to actually fly. Also, right? It is nearly impossible, right? Because you have a chance that you'll get shot, and your part of serving the problem to save people is also lost, right? In that case.
Yes, yes. That is the reason why we are called combat army aviators.
Okay.
We are
Mhm.
trained for combat,
Okay.
and our machines are capable of taking it.
Okay.
And he saved 35 lives in a span of 3 days.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
subsequently, he moved out of the organization. And
Mhm.
it is such a pride, when you one day when I was just sitting and then having alcohol, a beer in the bar, and then the two gentlemen who had come, officers,
Mhm.
they
Okay.
are going in the Srinagar, and they are
Mhm.
going from one place to the other place. I'm located next to the airport.
Okay.
So while we are sitting in the bar and then we are discussing, then they started talking about engines,
Okay.
aircraft engines. They both are
Mhm.
from aviation.
Okay.
Then I said, sir, yeah. They said, yeah, you were in AD. How do you know about aero engines? I said,
Mhm.
sir, I happen to work with GTRE, though I'm not into the aero engine development part of it, but we used to have such discussions.
Mhm.
And he said, it is such a beautiful thing. Why don't you go to army aviation? I
Mhm.
said, sir, who will allow me now? That is
Mhm.
my CEO may not sign the application form. Firstly, army
Mhm.
will allow to go. But
Mhm.
ultimately, if your one of your team member wants to shift from your present team towards the other, that is from
Right.
Wi-Fi chip development towards Bluetooth
Ha,
thing,
ha, ha.
then
Yeah.
perforce it is courtesy that he should ask you.
Right.
Mr. Ravi, I'm intending to go because I want to pursue my development part in so and so Wi-Fi instead of Bluetooth. Now I have
Mhm.
come to a stagnant point where I stopped enjoying development. This stack for Bluetooth.
Got it. Got it.
And
Mhm.
it's courtesy. It cannot happen ki straight away you go and talk to the other guy.
Okay.
So I said, sir, my CEO may not allow. because
Mhm.
I'm already comfortable with my men and everything, because it is a long process. I have put in
Mhm.
5 years, and then I have that respect. And if I go to some other friggin aviation, here it is just every 2 years. You'll get your posting. You'll keep changing.
Okay.
Then he said,
Got it.
yeah, it is irrespective, but
Mhm.
flying is one thing. You have a greater calling. You envy no man. Then
Sir,
he showed me videos and everything. So
so
you do one
what
thing.
you
Next month when I come back, I have
Mhm.
he's a lieutenant colonel.
Okay.
He said we'll go to airport together.
Okay.
Then I said fine. You come in your uniform.
Okay.
Then I went, and then I was waiting at the airport. He landed, and then he gave me call. I went to
Mhm.
him. He said he took me inside.
Mhm.
Wait, that is where basically aircraft they park. And
He took you inside the jet aircraft or in the chopper?
no, no. Inside in the place where generally we walk on the dispersal, the parking area of the aircraft.
Okay.
We are
Got
allowed there in Srinagar.
Okay.
And thereafter, a helicopter came. Then he said,
Mhm.
why this chopper came? I
Mhm.
said, no, sir.
Mhm.
This chopper had come to pick me up.
Oh.
So, how many times
Mhm.
have you seen an officer of rank, a lieutenant colonel? Generally,
Mhm.
choppers are there for prime ministers, maybe chief ministers, private helicopters. For service aircraft, you'll only find it for the president and maybe the prime ministers,
Got it.
visiting state heads.
Mhm.
And for in aviation,
Mhm.
I have 5 of these choppers with me. This is one of my
Oh.
chopper. Then I
Okay.
said, sir, it is a beautiful thing. Then I said,
Mhm.
you want to sit? I said,
Mhm.
sir, you want me to give a ride now?
Mhm.
He said, yes. So
Okay.
I said, okay, let's go sit. He gave call to my CEO. He said, I'm taking this guy to Manasbal.
Mhm.
Then he took me to Manasbal, which is about 45 minutes of flying time.
Okay.
Chopper. He started showing me, so many things. You look this, you look there, ye hai, wo hai.
Mhm.
He himself is a pilot. He changed his uniform to pilot, and he started flying the aircraft. I was sitting
Okay.
behind.
Uh-huh.
Then he started showing me everything.
Okay.
It was such a lovely experience. Then
Mhm.
he took me to his hangar, and then he showed me other aircrafts. Such
Mhm.
a beautiful sight. Said,
Okay.
are you
Nice.
motivated enough? You want to join
Mhm.
aviation? I said, yes.
Okay.
Provided that
Okay.
my CEO signs. Then he said, yeah,
Okay.
don't worry about your CEO. He will
Mhm.
do justice to his uniform. He is an officer. And
Mhm.
when he signs your application form, he's not saying ki I recommend or I don't recommend. He's just countersigning, ascertaining that this guy is working in Army Aviation with so and so unit, and the details given in the form are correct. That's it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there is a policy. He had got me a Army policy book.
Okay.
Then he pointed at a policy which says when you give your application form, he is bound to forward that application form ahead within 7 days. And if he
Okay.
fails to do so,
Mhm.
he is failing in his basic duty, and
Yeah.
this is violation of the policy. And you can
Okay.
always write a letter against it. When I went and I spoke to CEO, he said, "Who gave you this idea?" I said, "Sir, I want to join aviation." Naini, yaar, it is such a beautiful unit. Why do you want to? Are you being subjected to kind of pressure in the work or for the other social activities? I said, "No, sir."
Mhm.
But somehow,
Mhm.
after that ride, I want to join. Then he said,
Oh.
"Yeah, you please consider." I said, "No, sir. I want to go now." Now it is a
Okay.
basic human thing. If someone says you don't do it, we'll always do it.
Correct. Correct.
You have your
It
daughter.
happens. It happens. It becomes more stronger. Like.
You have your daughter there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah. Now you say your daughter, beta, don't hold that glass. It'll break. She will hold that glass.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. True.
It also happened that way. When I say, yeah, Ravi, please don't look at your phone screen now.
Okay.
Now you look at phone screen now.
True. True. Yeah.
It
It happens.
generally happens.
It's like what is not asked to do is the thing that interests us the most. Thing. Right?
Exactly
Then.
the same thing had happened with me. I said, sir, no, I want to go now.
Okay.
You cannot suppress the aspiration of an officer,
Right.
and that will kill the motivation for me to serve in this organization. Ultimately, you
Right.
will not be able to extract maximum out of me, which
Correct.
when I
Correct.
fail to do so with my troop, agar if I don't
Mm-hmm.
address their problems, I will not be able to extract most of it.
Correct. Correct.
Then he said, "Yaar, you cannot do this to a regiment now." Then I said, "No, I want to go now." Then he said,
Okay.
"Okay, you give me your application form. I'll speak." Then
Okay.
he signed me application. He signed his application form.
Okay.
Thereafter, the other guy who gave me proper ride, I
Mm.
was not even aware of that guy. Yaar. Now this is the beauty of the organization.
Okay.
He felt कि अगर if I move to army aviation with the basic knowledge set that I have, I am more of use to army aviation than to AD.
Right, right. True.
So he wants to do justice to his uniform, and he did this, though he is not required to. How many times it happens? You
True.
interact with other team member and then say, कि, "यार, your knowledge about Bluetooth is much better than my
Right,
own
right.
team members." You will make a good guy for development team to this Intel
Right,
than
right,
other guys. So I want
right.
you in my team.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go all out to basically help,
Correct, correct.
discussing, writing email.
Right.
Is the decision making authority, whoever is
Mm.
the one who will take the final call. You are taking all the pain to discuss someone for what? He's not getting
That
anything
doesn't.
out of it, yeah.
Right, exactly. It's only for the organization, and it is just you're placing that the right thing should happen in the way, but in a way, it is not helping you directly if you take it in person, right?
So basically he helped me out, and ultimately I also end up, when I moved to the aviation, I end
Mm-hmm.
up taking two other juniors of mine to the aviation.
Oh wow.
Straight
So,
after. But still, I keep getting call from my previous unit officers that, yeah, how are you doing? So and so. They keep track.
uh-huh.
They know, they always trace where exactly you are.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
a beautiful organization.
Nice,
There's so much
nice.
of motivation around. You are not working for the salary. You are not working. Basically, you are least bothered about it. At the
Right,
end of month, you keep getting your salary whether you work or not.
right,
It's a government job at the end of the day.
right.
But again,
I
by
would.
virtue of whatever grooming
Mm-hmm.
that they give you,
Mm-hmm.
you yourself will feel कि यार, if I don't do justice at the end of the day, when I come back and then I home, and then when I sit with my wife and then kid,
Mm-hmm.
whenever we eat food, you
Mm-hmm.
should realize the fact that this is the food that was जो नाम नमक or जो uniform and then nishan, whatever respect I have,
Mm-hmm.
all comes from the organization.
Got
If
it.
I don't do enough justice to this organization, then there's no value to the food. There's no value. I'm not abiding to the values that are imparted to me by my parents.
Mm-hmm.
There is no sense of purpose or the belonging. There is no purpose to the life that we have.
Right. I heard one thing coming across a YouTube video. There was one army officer. He was like, he was talking about like, sir, he was like IIT rank, JE rank 4.
Ah,
So he is like in the top end of the engineering, and he joined Indian Army.
ah,
Then a person interviewing him asked him. He raised very high levels in his profession.
hmm,
He was asked like, why did you join Indian Army when you were like IIT rank 4? You would have like shaken the world with the technology or whatever things that you are doing, right?
mhm,
Everything you at your disposal. Then he says that. He said one thing: Army is the only organization that will give you life.
hmm,
Other organizations are something that will pay you maybe a paycheck or something that you will get it, but this is something that you will give you life. No other, you will get 100% life that you live time to time, and everything has this adrenaline rush that whatever you want to get, that excitement, that everything is there in army that I have got. And I don't regret in any way. I don't regret the decision that I have made. I have enjoyed it to the fullest level is what he was indicating. So while you're saying all the things and of in high regard of the thing that you're working in an organization and stuff,
hmm,
that I just got reminded of the thing that happened. So having said that thing, Bharat, like okay, when it is with respect to you,
hmm,
right, as a person that you are into army and going into this, taking this combat fight and saving the casualties, all that is good as an individual, but when it comes to family,
uh-huh.
right, like your parents or your better half whom you got married to
Uh-huh.
and stuff, did you find any difficulty in that, or how was it with respect to this thing, like when you're joining this armed forces and stuff, were there any difficulties taking that decision, or some people who ask you to come back and join back, you didn't have any difficulties that way?
No, never. My wife, she herself is daughter of a naval aviator.
Okay, okay.
So she is basically into the Fauji environment.
Mm-hmm.
She is born. I'm the
Oh,
first guy.
got it.
I got
Got it.
into army at 26 years of age. She
Mm.
when she was in womb, she is already in the. environment.
He already knows the environment much more than what you have known.
Exactly.
See, okay, okay.
But
True,
otherwise,
true.
my parents were against it by the virtue that it's a high risk environment.
Mhm.
But again, if you actually see, each and everyone have their own requirements. Over a period of
Mhm.
time, you have to accept the fact. At
Correct.
some point of time, money, you'll have disregard for the money because you have got
Mhm.
enough.
Mhm.
But now what you look at is the quality of life, or whether you are living your life the way you wanted it or not.
Exactly, exactly.
For
Very
some
much. Very.
people,
Mhm.
the materialistic things come first.
Yes.
I'll have my happiness. I have disregard for you know
Mhm.
all the
Mhm.
worldly things. But when I want money, I want money. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong in that in that
Right.
individual, because
Right.
when he dies, he will not have that regret, because it is the
Exactly.
strongest call that he had taken.
Right. Correct.
Someone in R&D sector, some
Mhm.
people, they disregard for the money that earn, especially DRDO, they don't get paid the way the corporate pays. You take
Correct.
a
Correct.
corporate guy who is earning, with Samsung or Nvidia or Intel or
Right.
AMD,
Mhm.
and you look at the DRDO guy.
Right.
For example, DRDO, Sitar is the organization that is into VLSI. You have all the fabrication of chips and everything.
Right.
You take Intel, the guy who is getting onto wafers
Mhm.
and who is basically on ground doing things, and then you take the DRDO guy who is doing it. There's a phenomenal difference in the paycheck.
Correct. Correct.
However, at the end of it, that guy who is working in the DRDO, he has his satisfaction in working day in and out, round the clock, to achieve what he's thinking about. What he wants to achieve.
Right.
For him,
See, actually,
achievement is the thing.
actually, I will tell you one point with regard to this thing, right?
Yeah.
See, one thing being in semiconductor and various people are paid hefty or well was much
Hmm.
higher than what the normal software folks or rest of the IT folks do generally get.
Ah.
And sometimes it surprises that we have cases where people lose interest out of what they are doing and don't get enough performance. And we are surprised sometimes. Like there was one veteran
Hmm.
who has worked on this Chandrayaan mission from DRDO, this ISRO, right?
Hmm.
He has come to Intel. It's surprised. Like their pay scales are generally in corporate. It's a norm or thing that is understood that hey,
Hmm.
pay scale is something that will motivate you to do things better.
Hmm.
If you are doing good job, they like whatever award here, they will show it in the form of the paycheck or the promotion that you get
Hmm.
as an individual in the work that you're doing and stuff. But what is the thing that motivates to do something which is very outstanding, which no one does? Working in a government organization was a very big surprise. Like from that, right? There is a huge gap of pay difference that is there, but they are into an organization where they are doing something which is a rare feat. Not many people do it,
Hmm.
right? So that's really an interesting perspective that
That
is
is the
there,
reason I said,
right?
for the people, if you take kids, I am actually much into my daughter.
Right.
Curiosity is the factor.
Yes. Right.
The
Right.
one that keeps the spark alive. Even for the human brain,
Mhm.
irrespective of whatever your age is, if you keep exercising your mind, you
Right.
keep that spark of curiosity alive.
Correct. Right.
You will always be a happy individual. You are not your brain is not resting. It is continuously working. So
Correct.
challenges are there. Intel,
Right.
by virtue of innovations का भाई Intel का अपने आप है, but इसका ultimate focus is to, in competition to AMD and Nvidia, they'll have to release a product which outperforms the existing
Right.
product.
Right.
Their goal is completely different. Now you look at these guys who are working with ISRO. They have
Mhm.
the very limited funds available. That is
Yes.
within the limited
Exactly.
resources that they have. Now they have a defined thing for the country. We'll have
Right.
to put India on the same platform, the global platform, as the other countries like US and China, which are spending trillions of dollars
Correct.
within the limited resources. Now here
Right.
comes the innovation on within the limited resources. How do you achieve? Now
Mhm.
this is the curiosity.
Right.
How
Right.
do I achieve? How do I achieve this? There are multiple ways of doing it. Now let me optimize it.
Mhm.
People will find happiness in this aspect alone.
Correct. Mhm.
You look at our kid, and
Mhm.
she'll always question, Papa, what is this? Papa, what is this? Papa, what is
Right.
this? Papa, why is
Right.
this? Papa, why is this? Why is this? Over a period of time, we lose that thing. It should come.
Right.
When you basically, I'm sure as part of your job in the initial phases when you are into semiconductors, you also have these questions.
Correct.
Why
Correct.
should I use silicon? Why should I not use something else?
Other thing is right.
For etching laser you are using,
Right.
why should I use
Right.
laser? Why should I not use something else?
True. True.
There may be some other technology. Now,
Right.
thing is, Intel has all the resources. It is such
Right.
a lovely equipment. You use the laser etching, and
Mm-hmm.
if you are in some organization, you are a startup. Let me say,
Mm-hmm.
Ravi had started his own company and
Mm-hmm.
getting into the fabrication of smaller ASICs, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have very limited funds available.
Correct. Mm.
Now you will put your mind into that, drive.
Right.
Your mind will start exercising. Ki, how do I address this problem within the limited and meager resources that I have?
Right.
Now you will find yourself to be very happy individual, and a
Right.
majority of these guys sitting in the DRDO and ISRO, they
Mm-hmm.
find happiness in it.
Right. So talking about happiness, right? This is one of the questions that I usually ask in the interview, right? Like,
Mm.
define happiness. What is happiness for you as an individual?
Yeah, happiness is getting away from the ground and looking at beautiful mountains and flying over Brahmaputra,
Okay.
and with a purpose, saying ki bhai, there is some guy who is waiting there for him
Mm-hmm.
to be saved by you.
Okay.
The sound of chopper blades, the
Mm-hmm.
rotor cutting the air
Mm-hmm.
means fun for you. I
Right.
enjoy it. It's an adventure for me. But the
Okay.
same sound means life and death situation for the guy who is waiting for that sound.
Right.
Now,
Right.
at the end of the day, when I come back, for me, here
Mm-hmm.
it is nothing. I'll simply take the example of those two guys that I saved.
Right.
Okay? It is
Mm-hmm.
part of my job. I'm a combat army aviator. I was not expecting any commendation card or any of the recognition that I'm, because I am already motivated enough. I have shown my motivation in joining the forces. I've shown my motivation in flying,
Got it.
irrespective of
Mm-hmm.
whether I'll get recognized for the act or not. That is
Correct.
irrespective. I'm doing my job ultimately.
True.
But
But it's helping the
you know,
people who are there. It is
you
a
look
life.
at the perspective of the other individual. These two
Right.
guys are
Mm-hmm.
the guys who are earning the bread, whole soul bread earners for a family.
Right.
Both the individuals will have, matlab, agar collectively if I speak, there are two mothers, two fathers, two wives, maybe four
Right.
kids, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe the other disabled अगर कोई dependents है उनके ऊपर. Now,
Father,
whatever
grandparents,
is the part of my job to fly
mm-hmm.
helicopter, go get them, for which I'm
Mm-hmm.
trained for. For
Right.
me, I love the adventure. When I come
Right.
back and then I realize now I have saved so many individuals, I have given them the bread earners back. I've saved their
Right.
lives, and I have also given the guy who is responsible for feeding them.
Nice.
There is a lot of the sense of pride that comes. At the
Right.
end of the day, when I look myself at the mirror, Bharat, you have saved two lives.
Mm-hmm.
Within the last 1.5 year, I had about 170, 80 odd Casevac missions that I have done.
Okay.
That includes pets of the army dogs.
Okay. They
The
also contribute,
these
right?
dogs. Yeah,
They also contribute to the army, right? In
yes,
terms of saving and stuff.
yeah. They do have the strapped cameras and all. They cross LAC. They are
Is it? Huh?
trained. Yeah, they cross
Okay.
LAC and they listen to the phone call on loudspeaker.
Is it? Oh, okay. Wow.
Exactly,
And they
because I
understand,
want to know.
right?
I know when I'm flying helicopter and then flying over LAC, I spotted maybe two huts in a dilapidated place, and
Okay.
then I'm curious about, because I cannot fly quadcopters, UAVs,
Mm-hmm.
and there are very limited number of guys. What will I do? I have a mobile connectivity there. China has its own Airtel towers. Airtel has its China towers. Welcome to China when I fly. So
Okay.
we send this guy. These dogs are trained. These canines are basically, you
Mm-hmm.
say left, right, go, come back.
Uh-huh.
They are trained to follow these orders.
Okay.
They do it. You go left now. So
Mm-hmm.
we know where exactly these dogs are going, and then they come with that video recording. Acha, this is the closest view that we have.
Okay.
They do it.
Got it.
They do it with the Pakistani posts.
Okay, okay. And actually, one interesting thing also I found, right? I heard that China or Pakistan, they were flying drones crossing the LAC and stuff. So there was one interesting video that I saw where they were showing that Indian Army people have trained eagles that go and destroy the drones that are coming into our ministry, so that easy to do it that way. Is it true, or the thing? I just came across this thing in
No, no,
some.
it is there. It is there.
It is okay,
You know,
okay,
again, it is just the matter of survivability.
right, got
You
it,
know, you either use the costliest of the equipment. It is never the machine. It's always the man behind the machine.
got
That's
it.
the motto with which we, people will say this aircraft is not modernized. I fly Cheetah. Cheetah is the
Okay,
Ferrari of all helicopters. It has
okay,
two world records unbeaten till date,
okay, okay.
and it is so beautiful of a machine. Only an engineer can understand
Mm-hmm.
how how good are your chips. The to be the processors that you have when they
Right.
are subjected to defense
Mm-hmm.
grade direct energy weapons, that
Got
is
it,
EMI and EMC.
got
Now
it.
imagine a helicopter with autopilot. Now imagine a helicopter with altitude, heading,
Mm-hmm.
and orientation maintaining components.
Okay,
When it comes under direct energy weapon, that is not a kinetic kill, but it is electronic kill.
got it.
Now
Mm-hmm.
these aircrafts are controlled by computers. Computer controls how much fuel goes into the engine. Now I
Mm-hmm.
am flying a chopper which
Mm-hmm.
has engine timing circuits with
Mm-hmm.
no IC, with no integrated
Okay.
circuit.
Oh, is it?
All the timing signals are just by the virtue of the moment you put the engine start switch on. You have a bimetallic strip that gets heated.
Oh,
For the number of windings that you have for the coil, you adjust the timing at
oh,
five
so
seconds. You
the,
activate this switch, yeah, at 5 seconds. Now imagine
Mhm.
once you switch on the engine, there is
Mhm.
nothing. Even the main control unit detaches itself from fiddling with the engine.
Okay,
Now there is nothing that can stop.
okay,
I respect the only thing that gets affected is in case if they use any waves to basically affect humans.
okay,
A machine is not affected.
got it. Okay,
So
nice. Mm.
it's a
And
it's a beautiful thing.
okay, and see, I see one thing I understood from the way that our discussion conversation is going on. You are very passionate about the thing that you're doing or getting into, and I feel that that's how it should be for everyone in whatever field or virtue of the thing that they are doing,
Mhm.
or have a thing that keeps them alive, right? Like the curiosity point or something that is there, that element of the thing which you love to do should always be there, is something I feel. So in this regard, I just wanted to ask, was there any very safety critical thing that you got into, like where there is a lot of danger that is involved in the thing that you're doing in a mission or a project that you're doing, and you want in what you got into, and you had your hairs on your hand standing, and somehow you overcome that situation or something, right? Because it's not a natural thing. Flying itself has its own challenges in doing so, and but when you're going into combat location and stuff, you might have gone or got into some or the other troubled areas, right? Like that you have got into. Do you want to describe any one of such incident?
Yeah. As you rightly said, inherently aviation is a very risky business.
Right,
Now I'm sitting. The moment I sit in the aircraft, get airborne, my
right,
life is just suspended on the main rotor head, which has about 36 odd thousand screws, nuts, and bolts.
right.
Fail, all it just takes is a few odd bolts to give up. I get
Hmm.
killed.
Right,
So each and every time that I sit in the cockpit is the most dangerous thing.
right.
So inherent danger, but again I said for
Hmm.
everyone, work whatever they do, as you rightly said,
Right,
being happy is what it matters. One way or the other way. For some, death strikes early. For some,
right.
it comes late. But
Hmm.
the basic it is said on the deathbed, or when someone is dying, or when I am crashing from 19 odd thousand feet motherlessly like a stone. I should
Right.
not have that regret. I know I'm going to die, but
Hmm.
am I dying with that happy this thing ki, I have tried to do justice to my life I was good because I know the organization is going to take care of my family in terms of the financial also. Because
Okay.
if anything happens to me, whatever I'm earning, 50% of it, government is going to give it to my wife
Okay.
without any payment. To 2 crores is the money that they are going to. Obviously, they are not going to fill the gap that they are going to have in their lives. But
Right.
thing is,
But
I'm okay that they are secured in terms of the basic minimum requirements that they have. I have my own house. They have their. They will be happy in the financial thing, and I am happy with whatever I'm doing. So
good.
now, what more one wants,
Correct.
है ना? So
Right.
it
Right.
the idea of death for someone, it sounds scary.
Right.
For someone like us, it is an adventure.
Right.
Is it striking today or is it striking tomorrow? Because I said while saving those two guys, I had three emergencies. One, we were about to crash into the hill face at
Right.
9,600 odd feet.
Right.
When we are carrying out that evacuation, and aircraft is operating beyond its operating envelope. Each and
Got.
every aircraft has its limitation. We were operating beyond the safety limits prescribed for that aircraft. And while searching for them and the nearest refueling facility and then the condition of the guys, and we had the fuel low level warning light on. Now,
Okay.
when aircraft fuel low level warning light comes on, manufacturer says land within 10 minutes, otherwise engine will fail.
Okay.
Put yourself in a situation wherein at least you should be able to recover the aircraft, is what that says. Nearest the helipad that we have for the recovery of the aircraft was about 13 minutes of flying time. So it is a
Okay.
conscious decision CEO and I took. He said, we have about 10 minutes of fuel left in the engine, and 13 minutes of time it will take to fly back. Agar if we fly at the same level, however, we should require some advantage in terms of where we want to land. तो हमें ऊपर climb करना है तो maybe with climb we require 15 minutes. You said, what do you say? Well, sir, at least we'll drop the lives that we have saved. So nearest place जहाँ पे helicopter we cannot land, however we can drop the individual so that they can be recovered later.
Okay.
We have dropped them because that is the patrolling path. Just in case if something happens, that individual should not die.
Got it.
For our call that we have taken.
Right.
And we reached it. The gauge indicator was almost like 5 liters of the fuel. 5
Okay.
liters of the fuel is basically 1 minute it takes 3.6 liters of fuel, 4 liters.
Oh,
So
okay.
we were just having 1 liter of what happens now if they are manual gauges, if that gauge is reading higher or lower.
Okay.
So
Got it. Got it.
these are totally day
There
in
would be
doubt.
some inaccuracy in that reading that it shows as well, right? Like
No, it is
the
not just
manner.
like I'm not boasting that I'm doing this thing. Leh
No, no, no.
Ladakh,
I
in the
got it.
sector in the Leh Ladakh, basically as you keep going up, the oxygen availability reduces. That is, your engine requires oxygen to maintain that spark and then the fire inside. And now the number of air molecules that supports the weight of the aircraft also reduces. When you go up,
Got it.
air gets less denser.
Enough.
So
Yes. Yes.
number of air molecules to keep you suspended in the air increases. That means I'll not be able to carry more weight because
Got
aircraft is already operating at its maximum limit to keep itself up in the air.
got it.
Now with 60 liters of fuel, that is when I start the engine, I'm already at the 60 liters only. जहाँ पे warning light already is on. People will
Okay.
just carry 15 liters of kerosene at the farthest place to give, so that the other people can run their generators to keep themselves warm at minus 56 degrees, minus 70 odd degrees temperature.
Wow.
No, it
Wow.
is there's a day in and out. For me, I have done it once. Those guys are doing it every day.
Got it.
So it is just the mercy of God. It is all, as
True,
we
true.
say, it is karma, which is
Yeah.
basically helping us. Each and every day we survive. We just come and then pray to God. माता टेकते हैं भाई भगवान के पास. You
Okay.
are the one who saved me, and it is because of you I am seeing my daughter and then my wife for today. And
Okay.
next day in the morning, whenever we touch the aircraft, before that we again go to Mata. That is there in hangar next to the aircraft.
Right.
है ना? दुर्गा जी का वो होता है वो we have this thing, and then we go and just mata tek ke aate hain, bhai Bhagwan bacha lo.
So one thing I just want to say, Bharat. So I did this. See, going in a normal commercial flight where everything is closed and appears thing with all the safety norms, you don't experience anything. It's like you are just almost going like a train, except for the takeoff or the landing part, or when there is something in the weather that changes. But they try to keep it as safe as possible. That is there. So once I went for this micro flying thing in Yelahanka. You might know where some of the Air Force trained guys or this thing, right? NCC cadet do that. So it's like a two-seater flight where they
I
give
know,
you
I
offer
know.
the, yeah. So where you can go and drive for 15 minutes.
Oh.
So the person there, you can go and it was a very different experience. I just wanted to do it for the sake of doing it, like a 15 to 20 minutes of flying. It was so exciting that after going in the air you realize that generally if you're going in cars you do only two-dimensional thing,
Hmm.
right and left, however fast you spin except for the mountains you are on the ground itself. But this control, pitch control is there, right? It actually tilts when you actually make a turn, right? The flight or the chopper, you have to tilt and take a round, right? And that feeling, you see that, like you described, that the only nuts and bolts are there,
Hmm.
and it is really not that safe as it feels. So that is the thing that was there, and it was pretty interesting for me. And it was like it is very unsafe. It's just the door that is hanging, little bit of air that is coming, and those are not like small flights that are there, very used and worn out. That was the only thing, an adrenaline thing of flying experience that I had. I can only imagine the kind of thing or satisfaction that you would be having in flying chopper day in and day out, right? Like for 2000 hours of flying that you did. So that could be there. So having discussed all these things with respect to your career and the way that you're doing and the passion that you have for this thing, right? I just want to touch upon the things, right? How was your experience in SRKR college? What are the best moments there? Any memorable things that you have there and want to share across?
Obviously, everything has its own starting.
Right.
है ना?
Hmm.
Like the way you bring up the plant, you put a seed and then add a water.
Right.
Seed is the curiosity, and then
Hmm.
watering is basically by the college and the all the environment that it had provided me
Hmm.
to support in terms of all it requires is the positive environment where people at least acknowledge that whatever you are doing is good. Keep doing it.
Hmm. Right.
All it just requires the individual is this, and then I'm very thankful that I had. I'll give credits to Brahmaraju sir and then BRK Verma sir
Okay.
because
Hmm.
they had helped me a lot.
Right.
And Baki postmates and all, as you are aware, IST
Hmm.
is one charter where coming
Hmm.
from small villages, government
Hmm.
schooling and all, the language per se, we are not so
Hmm.
good. We should accept the fact.
Right. Right.
The communication skills and all. You are also part of IST,
Yeah. Yeah.
for some time.
To some part. Yeah. Right. Hmm.
However, other if and we also have certain people who are against it. So
Hmm.
used to make fun of those who are going there.
Right. Right. Right.
Now you realize that it is up to how an individual wants to groom himself and whether the facilities are given or not.
Correct.
I give all the credit to college for having such a wonderful set of uh, lecturers and then professors and
Hmm.
so lovely colleagues that I had at that time. They never made fun of self and Nilkant going for outside.
Hmm.
And majority of them were supportive and then acknowledged.
Hmm.
So we never forget it. Even now, when self and Nilkant we are still in touch. At least
Right.
once in a month we talk to each other
Nice.
or
Nice.
video call. All we
Hmm.
discuss is about this, and it's been 18 years.
Right.
And when we interact with others, we recently Nilkant went and visited SRM,
Got it. Got it. He
the
went to
present
college for
engineering batch.
this thing. Yes. Yes. He
Present
encouraged the folks there. Yeah.
engineering batch is
Hmm.
average age of or date
Hmm.
of birth or year of birth is 2006 2010.
Right.
And he
Right.
said when we were in college, you guys are in liquid form. You know?
Hmm. Right.
So time just flies.
Right.
But thing
Right.
is, it's always there. we'll never forget. We always look forward to come and meet, but commitments are so high. As
Right.
I said, we are already committed for certain purpose, and certain things become highest priority. Certain things they do have a priority, but thing is, we don't get enough time to visit.
Got
Looking
it.
forward to come and visit college.
Yeah.
And
See, and one thing I felt also, Bharat, is in college time, right? If people are different than the rest of the folks are trying something very different, right? Like the electronics that you're trying and stuff. I do remember there was some fun made while you're presenting or doing these models and these stuff. As a part of the college era where people are generally fun making and doing this thing, not to suppress or bring down on the things that you're doing, but as a general, but it was way of the thing that thinking ahead of the time, right? Like, or thinking or very keen on the things that you actually want to do in life. How did you get that at the college level itself? What inspired you, or what was the environment that has led you that you have to do or pursue such projects while you were in college?
well, yeah, majority of the are movies, and thing is,
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
as you are aware, my father almost for 15 years he worked in Saudi,
Okay.
and my mother and two kids, self and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when a father is giving his prime time for the sake to have better financial conditions so that he can afford better education for us, Mama
Mm-hmm.
used to keep telling us, there are certain sacrifices self and Papa, matlab father, we are going through, so that
Mm-hmm.
you guys have better education and then better life.
Okay.
So make better use of our sacrifice. Don't let it go wasted. Over a
Okay.
period of time, when you keep teaching certain things to the kids, you never know. Everyone will have their trigger point.
Got it.
It comes one time, or at certain time, you'll start realizing that whatever she's telling is correct.
Right.
If I disregard everything and then I'm not doing
Mm-hmm.
justice to it.
Right.
And
Right.
it also is part of the values that are imparted to you by your family members over a period of time. It's
Got
a
it.
culture that you learn from the others.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked it up. So over a period of time, the maturity starts coming up slightly early for us.
Right.
And later we started enjoying it, and you realize
Mhm.
at the end of it, when I'm doing something that keeps me happy,
Right.
that is subjective to me only. Agar if someone is making fun, let them make fun.
Right.
The
Right.
one now who had made fun of me or us going to IST, कि यार
Mhm.
उधर कुछ नहीं होता, it is basically you are
Mhm.
going because all the other girls in the they are coming, and
Mhm.
for the sake of going there, interacting and talking to them, if you are going there, no,
Mhm.
I have my that is how
See,
you are looking at it,
exactly,
right?
exactly. So
You
that
look
is
at
the
my
problem.
perspective.
True, true. People actually don't see the mind of the other people in only in the direction to the extent which they can think of.
Uh,
They cannot think beyond that point. So maybe because most of the people coming into college and this thing, just they want to meet and greet girls, and they don't have the capacity of thing. They are of that intention that okay, people going to IST generally do that.
uh,
There might be really some people who are doing that, and it's also not that wrong to
uh,
say, for example, right? It's okay, fine, it's all there, right? It's not like crime that you're committing there or stuff, but there is the added value that you got going there and that stuff, right? Like you're saying that going to IST and stuff and speaking better language might have helped you in the interviews that you
Obviously.
cracked, and yeah.
Agar if not for that, if I am unable to express myself in any of these interviews, if I am
Right.
unable to express myself in front of those GTRE directors and all,
Right.
GTRE and ADE directors,
Right.
obviously, agar if I don't acquire this skill of communicating with others,
Right.
then I would not have come to the point where I'm coming from.
Correct.
You one should realize the fact that yeah, we are not doing it. Socializing with the opposite sex is required.
Right.
Looking at the eyes, these guys whoever had made fun,
Mm-hmm.
let me be blunt about it, whoever had made fun, I've disregarded them, but though
Correct.
I used to feel bad, it used to be the community thing,
Mm-hmm.
as you are also aware, which was rampant at that time. I don't know whether it is there or not. Even now when I see certain videos of glorifying the actor,
Mm-hmm.
I disregard certain things. You yeah, just focus on what you want to do. Get out of that conservative mentality. That when you talk to a girl, you are that means you are talking with a negative. No,
Exactly.
it is a basic human thing, yeah.
Correct.
And
Correct.
even when I got married, my wife is from UP,
Mm-hmm.
and when I went to my parents, it's the same conservative. This thing had come. However, my
Mm-hmm.
parents are mature enough.
Got it.
They said, yeah, there is a cultural difference that comes. I said, yeah, mummy, papa, I am expected to work in an organization which is multi, there are all religions here. There are
Correct.
all, everyone will have everyone have their own set of traditions and then
Got it.
values. They have their
Mm-hmm.
own way of interacting with others. So
Right.
I cannot take a girl from here. It will take some time for her to get adjusted, but I'm okay. I'm already in love with someone. When I
Mm-hmm.
say I'll be happy with her,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should be having any issues because agar if you are thinking, neighbors will talk ill about me, or if they think
True,
that
true.
they have not given, you guys have not given me enough values that I'm
Mm-hmm.
going and marrying some North Indian, let it be,
Mm-hmm.
because they are
Okay.
not the bread earners for you. You are earning your own bread. I'm
Right.
earning my own bread. At the end of
Mm-hmm.
it, it is us, we family members.
True.
Agar if they are saying anything, it is let them. Just disregard. Let it fly over your ears. Then
Got
I
it.
said, okay, fine. Whatever, you are mature enough in taking your own decision to join forces. You said you will crack it. You cracked it. You are having a respectful life. We are sure that whatever decision you are taking, you will not get affected, and you alone are responsible for whatever decision you are taking. I said, yes, I'm absolutely fine with it. Now they
True.
are happy. I have a happy family. I have a beautiful wife, a wonderful daughter, and a
Right.
beautiful family. My parents are also happy.
Right.
That I am happy. What more is required?
True. True. True.
So all these things, it comes. If you just exercise your mind, what is that I want in my life? Am I
True.
concerned by the society? No, I'm least bothered about it.
Correct, correct. Actually, bringing up this point, same thing even Aditya said in his thing. Like when we go to IST or something, most of the people name it batting, batting and stuff. Now
uh,
he's asking if you go to office and work and you have to talk to women for the thing. No, what do you call? You have to do it daily basis. Everyone has to do. He has passed out of college. Why to make a hush of that there? That is there. So I think that is because of the cultural difference and the understanding that we have in the place that are there and the people that they come up and to what extent they have evolved and stuff. But yeah, I think that friction should go off even in the college or anywhere for say it is, and people should take thing in the right spirit and things and what is the purpose that which they are proceeding with. Yeah,
exactly.
and like you rightly said, one thing even with regard to having you married one UP girl and stuff, and I know there is a friction that brings in the family and relatives and even in the neighbors and this thing, right? They keep on poking stuff and things, and it is very important that hey, you are living on your own strength. Why do you actually care about the things that doesn't matter? It's not like you're doing some antisocial activity or causing trouble to other thing. It's that just that you're making your own choice in life which you feel would be better for you. So that's a very interesting and good person. So one question I just want to ask Bharat, right? Since 14 years have passed when you are out of BTech there. So what is the difference in the Bharat then and now?
Uh, in terms of professional or in terms of personal?
In terms of person you are basically.
In terms of person, I'm much better guy. I've
Okay.
learned a lot of things in terms of life, in terms of how to value things,
Mhm.
in terms of realizing how good people were to me in the college,
Right.
who had helped me.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's so much of learning and all. Personally, again, I've changed. Ek, the communication part of it, I'm much better now in terms of professional satisfaction levels. I'm much better. If
Mhm.
there is no क्या कहते हैं improvement in whatever you are doing each and every day,
Mhm.
so there's nothing. In terms of the skill set also completely changed. I don't remember anything about electrical motors and everything.
But but
I
but
forgot.
still,
My
right? but still I'm surprised that you understand different components of the embedded system in which you showed interest in, and right, since so much time has passed, and this thing, and you even say that you discuss with Nilkant every month or something on the things that you are doing, right? And I do even remember that thing for people, right? He's also, I think, a lot of things of you are from get things from movies and try to do and build on things that are there, right? Like for the wheelchair, automated wheelchair, just gesture movement or something that he has worked on and stuff like that.
If you actually ask me, there is a change I want to say. Earlier it used to be, somewhat similar. We used to get into, जैसे in and out doorbell वो smart वाला. It used to be something of a homemade things, and over a period of time, now the curiosity towards electronics, it did not die. I'm still into embedded systems.
Okay, great.
I'm still following it. However, now majority of my projects are towards detonators, explosive detonation systems.
Got it.
Something that takes away the life of the enemy.
Okay. Got it.
As they rightly say, when they ask, why are you in this organization? There are some people who say, I want to give life for my country. But there are some people who stand out and then say, I want to take life of some other bastard who is ready to give life for his country.
Okay.
So developing now these days, developing majority of the technology towards, in fact, in the Srinagar and all, the present Ukrainian, the dropping of grenades and or whatever they were doing, I did this in Srinagar.
Oh.
And also pressure changing detonators also I've done it. The waves that people use.
So you have actually done it as a part of your job itself, these things, all this part?
No, not as a part of job, out of curiosity, how things work. And then subsequently, there are certain innovations that are always kept on display. And then when you put it, there are always people who look for certain things. Like they show it in the movies. They always approach you. Buddy, I'm so and so, so and so special forces. Sir, I'm interested in this thing. I want the application of it. I said, sir, what do you want? I want to add explosive to it. Right, sir, it can be done. So I have this requirement. We'll work on it. Right, sir, we'll work on it. We end up making explosive UAVs, quadcopters, and pressure changing detonators, the waves that will explode.
Okay.
Never take any vape or certain things from me. It might just explode on face.
True. Correct. Yeah. Nice, interesting. And one question I had from one of our friends itself, right? Since you got acknowledging for the interview just some time ahead, so I had generally asked few of the folks who talk to you and stuff in college, and if they have any questions for that. So one question is, how do you handle fear in your life?
How do you handle
fear?
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear is just an emotion. Thing is, what is that for you to lose? The biggest thing, what is that for you to lose?
Okay.
It's life. It's the life only. It's a small thing, yeah.
Right.
Have a life, live a life that you don't regret. On the deathbed, you lose your fear. Now, fear is one factor that kills away your basic ability to think.
Right.
When you realize, what are the fears as we born, as a baby, what is the fear that your baby has when she is a newborn?
Correct.
Batao.
Newborn is for milk and mother. Generally, those are the two things,
No,
right?
It's the fear of sound.
Is it? Okay.
There is a sudden sound they get. Otherwise, how many times have you seen for any of these things kids getting? That jerky emotion. No, kuch nahi hota. When we are born, there is nothing that we know other than the sound of fear. Other than the fear of this thing.
Actually, I heard that for kids, generally, they don't have the emotion of fear. It is only that we impart all the fears as part of culture or conditioning that we do.
Exactly.
Otherwise, they have only the fear of falling. I heard that's the only fear they have. Like,
fear of falling is again getting hurt.
Right.
Getting hurt, and then the sound. These are the only things here. But otherwise, what is the biggest thing? As I rightly asked you before, it's just the life here. कोई नहीं, as long as you are alive, there is nothing you should be worried about. Each and every problem has its solution. By there is nothing that you cannot solve. People even and at the point of life and death, when you read certain history, people, they lose their lives, and then what actually had happened, the third person perspective, whoever has seen people dying, and the so magnanimous things that people have done before dying, the statements that they have made before dying, you actually realize, agar if someone has fear of a fear in their mind, you will not be able to do anything. Generally, you might have observed, agar if you are dehydrated, if you do not have enough food, if you are under severe stress, if you have fear about something, fear about losing something, fear about losing job, your mind will not function in its basic stable way of, you will not be able to derive maximum out of it. So when you take this under emotion, when you question yourself, when you are under so much of stress, you are about to lose your job because you have done something grossly wrong, you have shared certain document which you are not supposed to. Now you fear legal issues. क्या होगा? कुछ नहीं होगा. कितना क्या लेंगे? Are they going to put you फांसी चढ़ा देंगे? No, people will not kill you for something that you have done wrong. They only financially you are going to get affected. Simple. It's just financial. I'll be able to recover out of it. What is there for me to worry about? Actually, is it worth for me to take away my life? There are certain people who generally think that way. The only thing that is going to save me is taking away my life. Yeah, each and every problem has its solution. So one should question themselves. What is that I'm losing? Whenever they come under fear, what is that I'm losing in this? I've just in a once they meet with an accident, अगर मान लो गाड़ी का accident हो जाता है, again your adrenaline rush, you don't know what exactly to think. यार गाड़ी टूट गई. It's just a financial loss. Fucking you'll recover out of it in 2 years. Are you okay? Is the other individual okay? Is your life okay? Yes, it is fine. ठीक है. Am I losing anything else? It is just a materialistic thing. I'll earn it anyway. Am I losing job? Yes, I'm going to lose my job. It's fine. I have my life with me. I have another day to live and then recover myself from the situation that I'm. There is always a better tomorrow. Tomorrow is always better. There is always a tomorrow for you to do things, as long as, and even if certain point comes that one is going to lose their life, especially for helicopter pilots when we are flying an aircraft which is not, as you said, fixed wing planes with their engines off. They are meant to glide and then come back to the ground safely. It is inherent design. Helicopter is not inherently designed for to fly. अगर rotors बंद है तो you will just fall like a stone. Now you are using your ingenuity to use नीचे से जो भी हवा आता है. Now you are keeping your rotor blade alive with that wind. Now अगर उस time पे, if I lose my mind, if I have that fear of losing life, I'll not be able to apply myself and I'll end up killing myself. अगर उस time पे, if I have to control over my emotions and fear कि यार कुछ नहीं होगा, I'll come out of this situation. I've seen other situations. I have learned about people getting into such situations. I have interacted with those people who were alive after engine failures of the helicopters because they have done this thing. Now I keep my presence of mind with a cool mind. There is nothing going to, that I'm going to lose. I have had such a lovely life. Now let me focus on recovering the aircraft. Let me save these guys who are sitting behind. He had put trust on me. Let me save his life. When you अपने आप को समझाओगे ना ये चीज, that fear goes away. You will realize your heart, your mind will come into certain state where they will start supporting, making you certain decisions which are right at that instant. Basic human instinct starts kicking in, which will never go wrong.
Nice, Bharat. This was very nice. So one very good, sensible discussion. I learned a lot about, but I do see a lot of changes in you when you were in college. I know that curiosity and enthusiasm to embedded system was there, but now after speaking to an army officer, it feels to me that the Bharat now I'm speaking to is very much different and evolved than what I spoke at the college days. And yeah, that's very nice. So one thing I would ask you is, what is the suggestion that you would like to give the people who are doing in their college, or maybe to yourself back then, which will help them evolve themselves in the life that is coming afterwards?
कुछ नहीं यार, take the life the way it is.
Okay.
These days people started talking about depression, and there are so many things about mental well-being, mental health. These are all, if are you going to play this audio anywhere?
Hmm.
Acha.
Sorry.
So, will you play this video or sorry, audio to others?
Yeah, definitely.
Acha. So in that case, let me be wise with my words.
Right.
There's
It's
nothing
okay.
like it.
It's okay. I think you can go ahead and use it. It would be there. I think it would some people in this thing would be using it. Yeah.
Right. It is basically these are all nothing. As I previously said, your ultimate aim should be to keep yourself happy. Agar if
Hmm.
you are not happy with yourself, cannot expect anything. Life is so small, so short. You never
Right.
know when your heart stops supporting you. You know,
Right.
people they just die dancing, they just die driving, they just die. I speak a lot about death.
Hmm.
There's a reason because one should accept the fact. You know,
Right.
one should come into terms with their own life. Well, there's
Mm.
nothing. It is out of my control.
Right.
But thing is, whatever is in control is I have my life within my control. I have.
Got it.
I just want to do whatever I want to make
Hmm.
myself happy. If I am
Hmm.
happy, the environment around me will appear happy.
Yes. Right.
Agar if I am disgruntled with myself with whatever I am doing, anything and everything, any beautiful thing that you look at,
Will be distorted.
will
Yes.
look as if that is the reason why you'll find two different kind of people. Someone who loves pets and some who doesn't love pets.
Mm-hmm.
Matlab, it is contextual again. The
Mm-hmm.
same individual, if he is behaving well with the small puppy that he comes across, that means he is happy. And someone is kicking because he's under a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stress. People they do disregard. Even
Right.
whoever is listening this, agar if
Mm-hmm.
you are free, you have enough time to
Mm-hmm.
follow your hobby. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
this is one thing I want to convey. One should always have a hobby.
Right.
You achieve whatever you are doing is your job, but what you want to do yourself, the hobby part of it, defines what you are. If you do not exercise your mind till
Mm-hmm.
we die, there is no point, there is no sense in living such life. If you
Mm-hmm.
थोड़ी खाने पीने के लिए and
So,
you are wasting away the oxygen on this planet, so we are not the resource hoggers when we are living here. So it should be worth living.
right.
Yeah.
Right. At least
So
for ourselves to keep ourselves happy. At least that should be the primary goal, right? That
exactly.
is.
Everyone will have their own. For example, agar if you are into reading books, it is
Mm-hmm.
one of the wonderful. But reading books is never my hobby. For me, working on the electronics is something I love. I
Right.
deprive myself
Mm-hmm.
working on certain technologies that are going to take lives of people,
Mm-hmm.
things that are made to kill.
Right.
But I am happy with that.
Okay.
As I said before, I am in the business.
Right. Got it.
ठीक है, I'm in the business of supporting certain things which are, I have a certain call for my life, a certain the thing that I'm supposed to do. But ठीक है, one should not fear for the outcome. You have read about lives, wonderful lives of many people. Such a reviving careers of so many people
Mhm.
who had
Right.
come after hitting their rock bottom. If you
Right.
actually see, they don't have anything worries to lose. Some there is. Again, I'll repeat the same thing. What is the maximum thing that is going to happen to you? Losing your own life. That is small
Right.
thing, yeah. No,
Yeah.
after you, there is nobody who is going to. Matlab, it is a.
But it's
Uh,
a good thing, right? Whatever all fears come, then you just point to the greatest fear is of losing life.
uh,
If that itself is nothing, then what is there to be actually worried about? You just do what is right and be happy
uh,
doing, and just build on yourself. Yeah, things and consequences and circumstances will keep on coming and going. But yeah, that's very interesting way of looking at life. Bharat. Nice, nice.
you will be happy and sab kuch happy and
Yeah.
there is nothing like it. No regrets, nothing. you know,
Oh.
playing with kids, giving time to the family. You asked me this question whether in amidst all these things, there's so much of risky factor living under the shadow of death
Mm.
each and every day.
Mm-hmm.
I do get enough time. You know, people, they
Mm.
think about professional life, personal life,
Mm-hmm.
as two different aspects.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I have a different take. Even in the army, people with different mindsets, they do discuss about professional and personal life. There is nothing professional and personal. At
It's
the end
true.
of it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you are doing is doing for the profession is to basically whatever profession you are into is basically to support your personal life only.
Yes, exactly.
Ultimately, that also comes to be part of your personal life.
Right.
You should start doing. You are in a profession. You are basically which you are liking.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that that is what you like to do. Then
Mm-hmm.
when you like to do certain things, and then when you are doing it, it is not profession anymore.
Right.
It is your
Right.
personal. That is basically to keep yourself happy. You are doing it, and then that particular act of you doing it is supporting your family.
Got it.
है ना? And then
Mm.
one should take things in a positive spirit and look at positive things in other people. Start observing, be a good listener, and then
Mm.
start looking good in other people rather than looking at bad in others. Never
Hey,
try.
one thing, Bharat, I would request you know, to take up some time to at least interact with our college folks, those who are doing this thing, at least online, in
Uh,
over a Zoom call or something, na?
uh,
Because many of our professors and this it might be a scheduled diet or something, but we can plan off the thing, right? It would be generally on some day of a weekend or something, or maybe even that day, right, whenever you're free or something. So it would be good encouragement for the people also, right, whether they want to come into the army or your experience as such, or see, generally working in armed forces is a life of adventure, right? It's a
mm,
day to day thing that are there, and it teaches you a lot of things and make you a better person. These kind of challenges not many people face, like you're telling of the point, right? A lot of people go through stress, depression, and all those kind of things. What can be more stressful than being at the combat and keep putting your life at risk at that point of, right? So I would request you find some time. I'll ask the people also, right, the professors that are working, Sham and these people are interacting and trying to see and find good alumni which where they can have an interactive session with the college guys anytime, not only like this particular time or something, because this goes on or some thing. Anyway, this recorded session would be there as well, but I think it would be even great if they have that live session and they can get their questions and their fears and things answered there as well. That would be really nice. And
definitely.
yeah, and I really loved the conversation went through. I learned a lot about you and the things that are changed. I saw that the initial spirit of Bharat Verma that was there when you were in Bangalore and you were talking about the things. Hey, we have a 3D printer back then in 2012 or 13, where you're working in Bangalore,
Mm,
right, on the projects that you're doing.
mm,
These things. That is the first time I heard something called as a 3D printer in my life, that I heard it from you, because you're always aware of the technology and keep a curious eye towards the things that are new coming and stuff, and the surrounding things to now being an army major and running the choppers and participating in the rescue operations and leading a lot of people. So it was really nice and interesting, and a lot of things that I have learned for myself, and it was happy talking to you after a long time for this long conversation. Thanks, Bharat Verma, for
definitely.
your time. Hope sometime we'll find and have a chat as a casual conversation, and also let us see if we can find some time to have some online get-togethers and stuff as well. Thanks a lot. So I will stop the recording now.
Mm, yeah.
Uh, so.
Call recording has now ended.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will edit and send this recording to you, Bharat, and then let's see how it goes.
Not required to share. I know what I said.
Okay, okay, sure. Okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry, no, you sent message so many times because I told that there's an exercise that we are part of. Whether,
Yeah. Right. I understand, man. It's okay because after a point of time, I understand that many people will have commitments and this thing, right? It's okay. So it's good that to find some time and get these things done.
now
Okay.
I'm free to somewhere after 12th. We can plan if it is required whenever
Sure.
others are free. है ना?
Okay. Let's see and do it. Okay. Thanks, Bharat. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Good day.